And hello, and welcome to today's episode of Law, News and Laughter. Hope everyone is having a fantastic weekend. We start today off with a little bit of sad news, a little bit of disappointment. But then we're also going to be looking at the case of 8 teenage girls who swarmed Ken Lee and caused his death in Toronto a few months ago. And what the updates are in relation to that case. That's going to be the main focus of our show today. Beyond that, we also have the LAPD being sued for $50 million and Rolex suing a toy watch company. What the hell is wrong with people? Anyway, let's get stuck into it, everybody. Welcome to Law, News and Laughter. On this channel, we look at legal cases and concepts, world domination, news,
and just generally shoot the breeze.
We don't give any legal advice, but we can answer questions and hopefully point you in the right direction. We do not shy away from the topics. So if necessary, put on your big kid pants, have a cup of concrete and pull up a chair. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to reach out to us on Facebook, Twitter or via email, and all complaints can be directed to our complaints department. Make sure you smash the like and subscribe buttons, and now let's get into it. Okay, first thing is first, bring up the chat. Hello to everybody there. Oh, think I just realised what I did wrong there. Won't be a second, guys. Just got one thing I need to alter. And I can see XCOM has already dropped some memberships in the chat. Thank you, buddy. Very much appreciate that. Okay. Back to that across there. So, in chat, Blanderous left me a video in Discord. I did see that. Thank you very much. Tina says hi from South Texas. Listening to Nick from last night. Please let me know if there's anything I need to jump in on. Like I said, I've been missing Nick's streams, unfortunately. I've been trying to get this new thing called sleep. Hasn't particularly been going well for me. So, Bell's in the chat. Hello. Pixel, good to see you. Cynic, good morning to you too. Apostle Steve's here. Hope you're feeling a bit better today. I am. I'm actually walking a lot better. There's still some pinching of the nerves or whatever hell else it is. But I'm walking on my own. I'm not having to worry about falling over with crutches or whatever the hell else. So thank God for that. Son is asleep, waiting on him for coffee and food. Ooh. How old is he? Is he a teenager? He could be asleep for hours. Greedy bloke, salutations to you too. XCOM dropping the 5 memberships. We've got one for John J316UK, Malia Carr, Andrew 46 and 2, Darren Fury, and Just Cause. Congratulations to everyone. Hey, Linda, good morning. Notification just came on. Oh, actually, that's a good point. Hang on. If you got a notification, where was it? YouTube or Twitter. It's okay, I can't, Nick's going over Crowder again. Of course he is. Why wouldn't he? It's a gift that keeps on giving. Alright. Put the Linktree in. Thank you very much, Val. Shocker, I got both notifications. Well, there you go. So because I set up the stream last night about 9 hours before I was due to go live, so I'm hoping it had time to propagate. So fingers crossed. Otherwise, hopefully you got the one on Twitter, and I just put another one out saying that we're live on Twitter. Although I think I only put the Rumble listing in there, but oh well. At least people know that it's live and they can find me here if they want to watch. Thank you to the 61 of you watching. What the fuck? I got an email notification saying the stream was live. Okay, that's new. It's a rock while you wait. Well, okay, so the music during the starting soon screen will vary from day to day because that is playing from a randomized playlist of DMCA free music and royalty free music. So thank you very much for that. Sleazy says Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Oi, oi, oi. Ask myself what the fuck is wrong with people every day. Want my death to be by a swarm of 18-year-old naked teen girls. Yeah, but is that chased off a cliff or smothering, Marty? There is a difference there. Good morning, Sovereign Bozeman. Hope you're doing well. Vicky T's in the chat. Hello. Cowpoke. Hello from West Virginia. Hello right back at you. Farron apparently still working a drunken magic all over the place. I don't want to know. Honestly. Caitlin Williams. Hello. Is that an Aussie thing? Sleep. Glad to hear you're feeling better. Yeah, I am, thankfully. So. Nick's going over Crowder again. Got YouTube and an email. I'm really confused by the email. Yeah, I can understand that. I have no idea why you would have received an email. Did I post it out on Locals? Actually, you might have gotten it. Was an email from YouTube or from Locals? YouTube and Rumble notified you. Lovely. So apparently it's just that I need to stop being so slack and lazy and actually scheduling my videos more than 15 minutes in advance. Susie tried. Good to see you. Should have had a no notification option. I would have, but it's purely for the people that actually got notifications, because annoyingly the chat plugin that I use to bring these things up on screen using Brave, it doesn't give me the option. I only get to pick 2 options when I do polls because there's a clear button in the road. So, but anyway, I digress. Rumble came through before YouTube, fair enough. Next stream was with Drex and the Lorax, so I still have to look back the entire thing because I had a floor to lay, but the bit I heard was good. Okay. Get the emails that I click on the notify me that specific videos are scheduled. Interesting. There you go. And check with the news here in Canada. Smirky and making it all seem like a joke. Our youth system is a joke, by the way. Got a YouTube email to your Gmail. Jellywit, hello. Just got a notification that you're live, but didn't get the 30 minutes in live notification. Okay. Alrighty. Well, I'm going to move the chat over there. Crap, everything just minimized. Because I am going to start with some somber news. I got pipped to the post by something, and I'm not quite sure how to react to it. I'm not quite sure whether or not I should be upset, or whether or not I should be proud, or whether or not I should be devastated, because someone in my family reached one of my milestones long before I could ever get close. And it's a little bit of tall poppy syndrome. And while I'm very happy for them, I'm also pissed the fuck off. So my ultimate goal out of this eventually would have been to get on TV just once. Last night at 12:15 a.m, I was informed that not one, but both of my parents were live on TV and seen by millions around the world. There's my parents in the background of the Novak Djokovic interview after his win at the Australian Open. So, there's that. Why is there a sock in my pocket? So, yes. They beat me to the punch on that one. Well done. Alright. Now, hang on, where's the news page gone? Bring that back up. Alright. Oh, yes, I remember seeing them. Need to print some shirts with a YouTube channel if they're going to be on like that. That's a good point, actually. That's a really good point. Damn boomers always stealing the spotlight. That was on BBC's Winter Watch last Wednesday. He even got a name check. Oh, cool. That's pretty awesome. All right, let's get stuck into this news. We're going to be looking at the death of Ken Lee. Only certain information is that we are aware of. I am going to be starting with a news article that is about a month old so we can get some basis for it, and then I'm going to move through to the more recent stuff. So, let's get stuck into it, shall we? 8 teenage girls charged with murder in Toronto stabbing death. The suspects, aged 13 to 16, were said to have met via social media before gathering downtown and allegedly swarming the victim. Because, you know, that's normal. Eight teenage girls who appear to have met on social media have been charged with second-degree murder over the death of a 59-year-old man who was stabbed in downtown Toronto. Police allege that the girls assaulted and stabbed a man at the plaza near the main rail station in Canada's largest city early on Sunday morning. 3 of the girls are 13, 3 are 14 and 2 are 16, police said on Tuesday. Police have not named the victim, but speaking to the news conference, Detective Sergeant Terry Brown of Toronto's Homicide Squad said the man had recently moved to the city's homeless shelter system. He does have a very supportive family in the area, so I wouldn't necessarily call him homeless, maybe just recently on some hard luck. Brown said officers responded to a call in the downtown core around at midnight on 18 December after bystanders flagged down paramedics to report a man suffering from stab wounds. Police say the girls are believed to have assaulted and stabbed the victim following an altercation. Just teenagers being teenagers? He was rushed to the hospital with serious injuries but died a short time later. Officers arrested the girls nearby after interviewing witnesses, recovering a number of weapons at the scene. None of the suspects can be identified under Canada's Youth Criminal Justice Act. Brown said the investigators believed those involved in the attack met on social media and came from various parts of the city, but said it was unclear why they met that evening. I wouldn't describe them as a gang at this point, but what is alleged to have occurred is that evening would be consistent with what we traditionally call a swarming. 3 of the suspects had previous contact with police, said Brown, and the other 5 had no prior interactions. The suspects appeared in court on Sunday and are due again in court on 29 December. Second degree, I dare say, because at this point they're unable to prove exactly which one of them killed him. Total embarrassing that this happens in Canada. What the fuck? Bet they're all on birth control. Oh, Jesus. Okay, so this was the press release that was released on 10th of January. Homicide number 68 for 2022, York Street and University Avenue area. Toronto Police would like to update the public on a homicide investigation. On Sunday, December 18, 2022, at approximately 12:17am, police responded to a call for an assault in the York Street and University Avenue area. It is alleged that a man had been assaulted and stabbed by a group of teenage girls. A man was transported to hospital by medics with life-threatening injuries, and he was pronounced dead at the hospital a short time later. 8 teenage girls were arrested nearby. The victim has been identified as Ken Lee, 59 of Toronto. His photograph has been released. Anyone with information is asked to contact police on 416-808-7400. Grown man should have been able to take down at least one teenage girl. I don't know, dude. You ever seen them during a sale? They get feisty, especially if they're armed with like high-heeled shoes or a knife or... On Bolivia TV broadcast over and over, advertising some of the carnival that I was interviewed for and later was interviewed by Miss Bolivia. Cool. There's more people involved, as this may have been harassing homeless people for a while now. Well, if it's part of a trend as to why they met on social media and then swarmed like that, that may actually make some sense. Hate that you can't charge all of them with first degree. This is stupid. Asian hate crime. Smash Cheer and Rumble. Life, no parole for all of them in a men's prison, unsupervised. Jesus, sense. You live in London, being stabbed is just part and parcel of city life, according to the mayor. Holy fuck, really? You ain't seen crazy until you've seen two men fight over a Barbie. Oh, alright, moving on to the more recent stuff. Guys, but Toronto police identified the man allegedly killed by teen girls in a swarming attack. Toronto police have identified the man killed last month by a group of teen girls in a seemingly random swarming attack in the city's downtown core. Ken Lee, 59, was named on Tuesday as the victim of the murder that has shaken the city for its senselessness and the young age of the alleged assailants. 8 teenage girls are believed to have stabbed Lee at the plaza near the main rail station in Canada's largest city in the early hours of 18 December. 3 of the girls are 13, 3 are 14, and 2 are 16. Lee, who had spent years in the city's shelter system, okay, so they got that wrong, was the Toronto's 68th homicide victim of 2022. He was attacked after witnesses say he tried to stop the group of teens from stealing a bottle of alcohol from a friend. Bystanders flagged down paramedics and Lee was rushed to hospital but died a short time later. Toronto police are investigating reports from earlier that the same evening that the group of teenagers was harassing passers-by. Officers arrested the girls nearby after interviewing witnesses, recovering a number of weapons at the scene. None of the suspects can be identified because of Canada's Youth Crime Justice Act. I wonder if the girls are friends of Greta Thunberg. Oh, God. These girls are going to get a slap on the wrist just because of our youth criminal system. Quite possibly. If I'm attacked by a mob, at least one of them is going to be permanently disfigured. Investigators believe the teens involved in the attack met on social media, blah, blah, blah. Wouldn't describe them as a gang at this point. Yeah, you already said that. One of the suspects was granted bail in late December and was permitted to return to school, with a judge expecting to outline her reasoning for granting bail later today. The teen cannot contact her co-accused, possess any weapons, or use a mobile phone. She must also remain within the province of Ontario. Of the 7 remaining suspects, 2 have bail hearing dates set for later this month, and attorneys are continuing to discuss potential dates for the others. Not saying what's justice about releasing their names. Oh, because generally when people's names are released, you can track them down and justice may actually be served through vigilante justice. And they try and prevent children from having their names in the press because children are supposed to be below the age of accountability and responsibility, which I call complete horse shit too. 13 and 14-year-olds, 6 of them, stabbed a man to death. But oh no, we should definitely raise the age of accountability here in Australia to 14 so that those 6 would all walk. Let's do that. Off on bail already, probably has parents who donate a lot. Quite possibly. Teens should be forced to watch their dads, if any in their lives, receive the same punishment. Ooh. Sorry, but if you're old enough to murder someone, you're old enough to have your name used in connection with reporting of the crime. Not disagreeing with you on that, Impish. Call BS on that. She has access to a phone and a weapon. That girl's family paid for her to get out. Not vigilante, it's natural justice. Very cool. Okay, now this should be the stuff from yesterday. 7 out of 8 teens accused in Toronto swarming attack make court appearance for bail proceedings. 7 of the 8 girls who are facing charge on second-degree murder in connection with the alleged swarming death of Ken Lee made an appearance in the youth court in downtown Toronto on Friday. Lee, 59, of Toronto, was pronounced dead in hospital after he was allegedly beaten and stabbed by a group of girls not far from the downtown shelter in the early mornings hours of December 18, 2022. All 8 girls who range in age from 13 to 16 are charged with second-degree murder. One was previously granted bail in late December. 7 will remain in custody after the day-long bail hearing. In court, the teens were seated side by side. The identities of the accused cannot be released under the Youth Justice Act. Toronto police have said 3 of the girls had previous contact with police. Friday's appearance was part of the bail proceedings for the accused. After Friday's hearing, each of the 7 girls will have their own day in court to seek bail. The teens are expected to appear for individual bail hearings beginning next Tuesday. A pre-trial publication ban covering any evidence described in court on Friday is in place. At multiple points during the court's afternoon session, Justice Maria Siravar stared down at the girls, who were all seated on one side of the full courtroom. At one point, the judge said she was distracted by all the smirking coming from the accused. Is that a legit sketch of the kids? Yeah, but they're not allowed to show any details that may identify them. Of course they're not mentioning race. Why would they do that? I mean, I feel like from the sketch I can probably guess 1, 2, maybe 4 of them. Can understand not releasing kids' name for lesser crimes, but this? Any people say lawful gun owners is bad, probably this girl's parents would agree. I understand not destroying the life for a 16-year-old for simple assault, but theft simple assault or theft, but not murder. No. Where did I get to? Distracted by all the smirking coming from the accused, the attack on Lee began after the girls allegedly took a liquor bottle from the victim and his friend, a witness previously told CBC Toronto. In a statement issued earlier in the week, Lee's family said he was a kind soul with a heart of gold. He was not in the system due to alcohol or drug abuse, they said in a statement from his brother-in-law, Eric Schum. He was a man with pride who had fallen and wanted to learn to stand up on his own, knowing he always had his family behind him. They're going to act like adults. They need to be treated like adults completely. They planned to meet up, went armed, and were being antisocial. Manslaughter seems legit. I don't know. I'd take him on the second-degree murder charge, frankly. And was there more to that? No, I think that was... No. Okay. Moving on. Family of Toronto man allegedly killed by teen girls criticises law keeping identity secret. The family of the Toronto man allegedly killed by teen girls in a swarming attack have denounced flaws in the criminal justice system, criticising the opacity surrounding the youth cases involving serious crimes. 8 teenage girls have been charged with the murder of Ken Lee, who was repeatedly stabbed at a plaza near the main railway station in Canada's largest city in the early hours of December 18. 3 of the girls are 13, 3 14, 2 are 16. Because of their age, none of the suspects can be identified under Canada's Youth Criminal Justice Act, and few details can be printed by media outlets because of publication bans. How is the Act protecting the public if we don't know who these perpetrators are? Yep, I can completely understand that. Wait a second. How is the Act protecting the public if we don't know who these perpetrators are and why they were released on bail? One of the suspects was granted bail in late December and is permitted to return to school. The teen cannot contact a co-accused, possess any weapons, or use a mobile phone. Yeah, bullshit, as if that's going to stick. She must also remain within Ontario. Toronto police have also linked the group of teens to a series of assaults at downtown subway stations that same evening. For serious crimes, these perpetrators should not have any privacy rights or bail, said the family. The public should be aware of who these individuals are to protect themselves. The perpetrators must be named in order to bring forth more victims. Oh, we have a $10 super chat. Hello. Can't stay, just wanted to check up on you, Hayden, see how your foot's doing. Oh, thank you, Danielle. I very much appreciate that. The foot's doing a lot better. It still causes me to wince, but I'll probably be back walking on it normally tomorrow. But thank you for dropping by, and thank you very much for your super chat. Yep, that's fine. The family also... ordered to bring forth more witnesses and evidence. The family also criticised the court's decision to permit at least one of the accused to return to school. As a parent, my question to lawmakers who wrote the Youth Criminal Justice Act is how are you protecting my child if the perpetrator cannot be named and she could be in my child's class or school? Following the murder of a police officer last month, Canada's bail system is coming under scrutiny, with political leaders and police chiefs calling for tighter conditions, especially on firearms offences, despite evidence that the majority of those out on bail who are legally innocent rarely commit new crimes. Lee, who had spent years in the city's shelter system, is believed to have been attacked after he tried to stop the group of teens from stealing a bottle of alcohol from a friend. Just note that Ken was a kind soul with a good heart. He was not in the system due to alcohol or drug abuse. He was a man with pride who'd fallen and wanted to learn to stand on his own. Hey, simple pleasures. It's Canada. Trudeau will probably make them ambassadors or something. Oh, good God. Did they say some of those girls had already been in trouble? Yes, some of them had already had altercations with police. I think a swarm of girls should be called a murder of girls, just like crows. But are they up to 181 charges yet? No, that is a good point. Andrew's in the house. Hello. Try not to overdo it today. Will do. What's up? My Saturday was pretty good. It's Sunday morning for me now, so I'm just kicking back, keeping you guys entertained, and trying to keep things flowing. So thank you to the 84 of you watching. I very much appreciate that. I'm glad that things are moving. How is he not in the system? I don't get that. I think that they may have misspoken, honestly. I think I would consider him to be in the system if he's been in and out for the last couple of years, frankly. But, you know, some people don't like to identify as, so... hey, Andrew. I just want to say thank you very much to everyone that's watching. I'm not going to lie, after seeing the numbers on yesterday, I was slightly disheartened. I'm unsure whether or not it was back to YouTube trying to shadow ban me, but yesterday's video was easily my worst one in about a month. And I think at one point, the maximum viewership was down to 38. So, I'm hugely appreciative of everyone taking the time to watch this video live. And to anyone watching on the replay, I very much appreciate you too. Cheers. Suran says, smash the posse. Thank you very much. Wonder if this judge would have been as lenient if the judge handled the Rittenhouse trial. The Rittenhouse was self-defense. These girls were premeditated, I assume. Yeah. Okay. Lastly, teenage girls alleged to have fatally stabbed Toronto homeless man appear in packed youth court. This is the bit that got my craw up. Listen to this. In a packed Toronto youth court filled with their families and lawyers, a group of teenage girls appeared in person for bail proceedings on Friday, accused of second-degree murder in the death of 59-year-old Toronto homeless man in December. Police said 8 of the girls are alleged to have swarmed and stabbed Kenley to death, and they came across from the Greater Toronto area. They range in age from 13 to 16. Some of the teens were led into the room in handcuffs. One of the group of 8 teens was already granted bail. Shortly after being seated, a lawyer for one of the teens requested their clients be released to their cuffs, which the judge allowed. None of the teens can be identified. A pre-trial publication ban is also in place. Throughout Friday's proceedings, the teens appeared solemn, bored, and young. Justice Maria Sivara was distracted at several points during Friday's session by giggling, laughter, and movement in the court coming from some of the accused who were seated together. In court, on trial for second-degree murder, and they're sitting giggling.
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
Each of the 7 remaining girls must still face their own bail, hearing to seek bail. Hearings are set to happen in the next couple of weeks. The family of the homeless man said it was raising concerns about the bail system and protection for youth accused of crime. Lee's family is arguing that individuals accused of serious crime should not be granted bail, privacy, or bail. Eric Schum, one of the family members, has written a statement naming alleged perpetrators could lead to more alleged victims and witnesses coming forward. Well, look, only if they know exactly who was stabbing them. I mean, it's not like the girls would have necessarily yelled out their own names as they were plunging the knife into somebody. So there is a flaw in that logic. But still, at least if someone knows exactly what the issue is and exactly why they were attacked, well, it may well lead some people bring some people forward. It's terrible and so disrespectful. Yeah. Giggling is a teenage girl response to any stressful situation or any non-stressful situation or anything else. Yeah, but sometimes you should know the gravity of the situation when you're just supposed to just sit down and shut the fuck up. To be fair, a lot of people streaming yesterday, and a lot of you have the same crowd. True. It's probably in the system, just not for drugs or alcohol, which is the point I think they were making. Yeah. So raised with no discipline, period. Imagine that. I think they mean more about other things they've done, anything else leading up to the murder. Okay. He also argues that the UCJA protects criminal youths and not victims of the public. How is the Act protecting the public if we don't know who those perpetrators are and why they're released on bail? Hume said Lee was a kind soul with a heart of gold. Yep, we knew that. He was a man with pride, and we read that part. Police said that they believe the accused congregated after meeting on social media. Police are also investigating a case of 8 to 10 girls who allegedly assaulted several people on a Toronto subway hours before Lee was stabbed. They have not confirmed if the group was the same as the one accused in Lee's death, but they have said that they're looking for alleged assault victims. I wonder if they looked at the social media or the cell phone video recordings. Wouldn't be surprised if one of those girls reported it and didn't think to remove it. Considering they did a gun confiscation because of a single shooting, is there any chance they banned social media because of this one? Oh, I fucking doubt it, Jim. I very much doubt it. Very, very much doubt it. Alright, so what I want to do is have a quick look at this Youth Criminal Justice Act, because I'm very curious. Alright, Declaration of Principle, Extrajudicial Matters, Principles and Objectives. Hang on, have they got just a full thing that I can read? PDF, maybe? Don't really care about that. Judicial Matters, Consent to prosecute. Consent to prosecute, what the hell? Notices to parents, detention and release. Okay, parents, medical and psychological reports, referral to child welfare, sentencing, purposes and principles. That's what I want to see. Youth sentences, adult sentence, and election. Alright. Okay, detention and release. Except to the extent as they're inconsistent with or excluded by this Act, provisions of the part compelling the appearance of an accused apply to detention and release of the young person under the Act. Substitute for social measures prohibited. Peace officer, youth court judge, or justice shall not detain a young person in custody or impose a condition in respect to the young person's release by including an undertaking of release as a substitute. What the shall not detain a young person in custody or impose a condition in respect to the young person's release by including it in an undertaking or release as a substitute for appropriate child protection, mental health. Oh, okay, all right. Release order with conditions. A youth justice court judge or justice may impose conditions set out in subsections. Conditions necessary to ensure the young person's attendance in court. Justification for detention in custody. How about they committed a fucking crime? It's weird how many of the Commonwealth have laws like this. I'm reminded of the 2 teenagers in the UK. Oh, thank you for bringing that up, Sovereign Bozeman. I deliberately try and forget about that case. Raped and killed the 6-year-old boy whose names are still barred decades later. Never granted Brendan Daisy bail, and he never had a lawyer nor parental involvement when he was questioned. Why is unnecessary so unnecessarily difficult to spell? Seems unnecessary. Don't think the children have good mental health in the first place? No, I don't think they do either. What can we do to promote Hayden's YouTube site? He puts forth a lot of effort just so we can chat. Only 82, which is freaking unacceptable. I wouldn't blame him for leaving. Oh, Jude, look, it's going to take more than that for me to leave, okay? But, yeah, look, if anyone can think of anything to try and boost the channel, that'd be great. May order that a young person be detained in custody only if they've been charged with a serious offence or an offence other than a serious offence and they have a history that indicates a pattern of either outstanding charges or findings of guilt. And the judge or justice is satisfied on the balance of probabilities that there's a substantial likelihood. Damn. So people under the age of 18 automatically get bail unless they've been charged with a serious offence, and the judge is satisfied on the balance of probabilities that there's a substantial likelihood that they will not appear in court when required to do so, that detention is necessary for the protection and safety of the public. In the case where a young person has been charged with a serious offence and detention is not justified by subsection 1 or 2, that there are exceptional circumstances that warrant detention. Wow. The judge or justice is satisfied on the balance of probabilities that no conditional combination of conditions of release would, depending on the justification on which the judge or justice relies, reduce to a below substantial level the likelihood the person would not appear in court, offer adequate protection to the public, or maintain confidence. Wow. That's actually a high burden. So basically, any youth in Canada that commit even a serious crime, if the judge is provided with sufficient options by, say, a defense lawyer that remove various things, even if they're not going to stick to them, the judge is obliged to provide bail. What the fuck? Sounds like LA's juvenile restrictions. This is insane. Onus. The onus of the satisfying the youth justice court or the justice matters is on the Attorney General. Whoa. They're saying that it's on the prosecutor to prove, even if they've been judged with, okay, so the prosecutor doesn't have, it's not up to the defense lawyer saying, oh, these are the things we'll put in place to make sure that they don't reoffend. They automatically get bail unless the prosecution proves that there's been a serious charge, there's a substantial likelihood that they will not appear, that detention is necessary for the safety of public, which, okay, all makes a lot of sense. But automatic bail, even when it's a serious offence? That's insane. In case where including the apparent strength of the prosecutor's case, the gravity of the offence, the circumstances surrounding the commission of the offence, including whether a firearm was used, and the fact that the young person is liable on being found guilty of a potentially lengthy custodial sentence. Did the crime do the time? It's weak source of the next. Tell me about it. Oh, aren't you just amazing?
Try.
Careful, you will be on camera.
I better not be.
Thank you, my dear. Lady Overlaw'd there, bring me some of the nectar of the gods. Thank God for that. Alright. Imagine being the family of the man attacked. Yeah. Don't always agree with Hayden's views, but I enjoy listening when I get a chance. Genuine, down-to-earth Aussies are rare on YouTube. Well, Sparky, great minds are able to disagree. What does Hogue say? Oh shit, that's gone straight out of my mind. Someone in chat will remind me. But I'm glad you enjoy the content anyway. Thank you, Lady Overlord, for taking such good care of Hayden for us. Can we get solar powered wood chippers yet? Could you imagine how long that would take, though? Like move a millimeter like every day or something. So, that's the point. All right, where are we? Removing a young person from care. Young person. A person who is in the care of a young person has been placed with or any other person by application in writing to the youth justice judge or justice. Applying for an order if the person... Okay, this isn't really what I needed. Effective arrest. Appearance. Okay, appearance before a judge or justice. Whom information in the land must first appear before a youth justice judge or justice shall cause information. No. Now I'm just worried I'm going to bore you guys to tears. Medical and psychological reports. A youth justice court may at any stage in proceedings against a young person by order require that the young person be assessed by a qualified person who is required to report the results in writing to the court with the consent of a young person and the prosecutor, or on its own motion or application of the young person or the prosecutor if the court believes medical, psychological and psychiatric report in respect to the young person is necessary for the purposes mentioned. Okay, so they've got every right. While spouting about the ridiculousness of bail in serious case of serious crimes, let's not forget Lucas Gerhard and Rittenhouse. True. Sounds like they need ankle monitors and their parents too. Reasonable minds can differ. That's the one. Thank you, Mimi. Federal Child Welfare Agency. No, I don't really care about that. Pre-sentence report. This is like a little Overlaw'd might be having some big feelings. If I have to disappear in a second, you'll know why. Pre-sentencing reports. Youth sentences. Okay, here we go. Recommendation of conference. When a youth justice finds a young person guilty of an offence, the court may convene or cause to be convened a conference under Section 19 for recommendations to the court as to an appropriate youth sentence. A youth justice court shall, before imposing a youth sentence, consider any recommendations submitted under Section 41, any pre-sentence report, any representations made by the parties to the proceedings, their counsels and agents. Yeah, okay, fine. When a youth justice court finds a young person guilty of an offence and is imposing a youth sentence, the court shall, subject to this sentence, impose any one of the following sanctions or any number of them that are not inconsistent with each other, and if the offence is of first-degree murder or second-degree murder within the meaning of 231 of the Criminal Code, the court shall impose a sanction set out in paragraph Q or R 2 or 3 and may impose any of the sanctions set out. Okay. Oh look. They can reprimand them. Thank God for that. Random and off topic, but I think my favourite part of your name change is getting to call the little one Little Overlaw'd. Makes me chuckle every time. Personally, I think the adults with the microest of brain cells can agree to disagree. True. Order direct that the young person be discharged absolutely if the court considers it to be the best interest of the young person and not contrary to public interest. Discharged on any conditions imposed. Impose on the young person a fine not exceeding $1,000 to be paid at the time and on terms the court may fix. Holy crap. So if part of the youth sentence is that the kid can be, that someone under the Youth Act can be charged $1,000 maximum. Order the young person to pay to any other person at the times and on the terms the court may fix an amount by way of compensation for loss or damage. Well, no shit, that's just normal. But shall not be made for what? So if they order that someone pay compensation, they can't then fine them. Are you serious? No order shall be made for other damages in the province of Quebec or for general damages in any other province. Fuck you. Order the young person to make restitution to any other person or any other property obtained by the young person as a result of the commission of the offence within the time frame the court may fix. Oh yes, I've found you guilty of aggravated burglary. I'm ordering you to return the stolen goods and pay a fine of $1,000. Fucking hell. If property obtained as a result of the commission has been sold to an innocent purchaser, where restitution of the property to its owner or any other person has been made or ordered, order the young person to pay the purchaser at the time and on terms that the court may fix an amount not exceeding. Don't understand the difference between the two kinds of damages. Hang on, in which regard? Because there are multiple different types of damages. For the most part, you've got things so you've got restitution, which is to return whoever's been injured or damaged back to where they were, or you've got pecuniary damages, which is like your fines or your basically trying to punish them. So that's really your two main types, for example, is that you're paying money so that someone can be returned, but if they're already whole and you're just trying to punish them, that's when you do pecuniary damages. So that's why, okay, so if we look at the Johnny Depp stuff, okay, let's take this as an example. The one that was limited down to 350,000, I'm pretty sure, was a pecuniary damages. That was the jury saying that they wanted to hurt Amber Heard's back pocket. That wasn't to return Johnny Depp to a state where he was before she did the defamation. That was, they wanted to hurt her back pocket and take money out of her, and that money would have went to the state as opposed to anyone else. Hopefully that's a little bit more helpful. Okay, I'm assuming there's something going on about computers, because there's, what, solid slate drive and a driver? Okay. I'm on live chat. How am I missing stuff? Strange. Yeah, restitution to make the whole punitive is to punish. Thank you. Yep. Easiest way to specify it. Did they use their frequent flyer jail miles? I think MasterCard has a special rewards point. What's going on with your damn filing against the cow? It's been forever. Are they still dragging their feet on you? Yes, Impish. I was supposed to hear on Friday. Or at least they said they would endeavour to provide me with a response by Friday. Given that the chief prosecutor had been on leave until, what, Monday, I can't say that I'm specifically shocked, but yes. And look, I'm not going to lie, guys. I'm starting to feel like they're going to do everything they can to, like, drag it out and make it annoying for me. So... what's that? I had to use my GD flashcards. Let's make sure we give the dead guy back his bottle of booze. If it's restitution in cases where there's a homicide, then it would be blood washing blood. Well, no, because restitution isn't the same as eye for an eye. That's not the same thing. Court can order the young person to make restitution of any property obtained, yep. Subject to Section 54, order the young person to compensate any person in kind or by way of personal services at that time. Okay, so the court can actually order them to be a butler. And on terms that the court may fix for any loss, damage, or injury suffered by that person, in respect of which an order can be made under paragraphs E or G. Interesting. So we just give the family another person and it's cool? No, because nothing will ever bring them back. When someone dies, there really can't be restitution because you can't make the family members whole. No amount of money is ever going to replace someone that's been murdered. It doesn't work. It's ridiculous for that they even try, to be perfectly honest. So, you can order that the young person perform community service, subject to Section 51, a mandatory prohibition order. Make any order of prohibition, seizure, or forfeiture that may be imposed under any act of parliament or regulation made under it if an accused is found guilty or convicted of that offence. Okay. You killed someone. I'm taking your PS5. Place the young person on probation in accordance with Sections 55 and 56. Bite me. Subject to the subsection 3, agreement of provincial director. Order the young person into an intensive support and supervision program approved by the provincial director. In Somalia, I think it's 40 camels. 40 camels, that's 2 packs. Compensatory is the word that should be there for made whole or restitution. Yeah, close enough, Matty. Subject to Section 54, order the young person to attend a non-residential program approved by a provincial director at the times and on the terms the court may fix, for a maximum of 240 hours over a period not exceeding 6 months. So they can order them into effectively community service for at least for a maximum of 240 hours over a period of 6 months. Wow, they're really limiting the... They should put each of those girls in the worst cities in the world at night, starting with the murderer if they figure out who did it, and tell them... Alright, and testing, and Mike is back. I have no idea what the hell that was about, guys. Sorry about that. That's actually really annoying. I got no idea what the hell that happened. Like, that was literally no interaction from me whatsoever. That was the, for some reason, the mic just decided that it no longer wanted to work, so I had to reset everything. Okay, so here's the interesting bit, okay? It's weird it happened to EDB and Jeff the last couple of days too. Really? You're quieter than before? Ooh, actually, I think I know what that might be about. Hang on. Bring that back up to 100. Bring that back in a little bit. Is that it? Oh, wait, hang on. No, system output volume. I need to raise that. All right. Warning on the ears. This might get a little bit loud. Is that any better? I have no idea, so I'm just trying to mess with the levels here. Hopefully that is working a bit. Okay. All right. This is the bit, like... Sorry, I meant to type here. No, it's all good. Thank you for being here, Angel Wolf. Hello. Durner for $10 says, when I was young, I kept a diary of regret and tried to record my mistakes day by day, but there was never a day when I didn't have 20 or 30 entries. As there was no end to it, I gave up. Interesting. Well, if I was going to let the boomerang cause me to give up, it would have happened long ago. But thank you, that's awesome. Stop playing with the knobs. Okay, I'm going to reread this because this is I got to the interesting part right as the audio went out. They're not mistakes, they're happy little accidents. Feel better on my phone. The back mic holder looks like an S&M mask. On my smart TV, clearly a mic holder. I was wondering about Aussie. Okay. Alright, I'm going to reread this bit. Tell me if you can pick out what the issue with this would be. The court may make a custody or supervision order with respect to the young person, ordering that a period be served in custody and that a second period, which is one half as long as the first, be served, subject to sections 97 and 98, under the supervision of the community, subject to the conditions, the total of the periods not to exceed 2 years from the date of coming into force of the order, or if the young person is found guilty of an offence for which the punishment provided by the criminal code or any other act of parliament is life imprisonment, from 3 years from the date of the coming into force of the order. So, based on that, if the crime you have committed would give you life imprisonment, the maximum they're going to give you is 3 years. Make a custody and supervision order with respect to the young person, ordering that a person served in custody that a second period, which is half as long as the first, so if you make it for 2, the second period is for 1. The total of the periods not to exceed 2 years from the date of the coming into force of the order. So if it's anything other than something that will give you life imprisonment, maximum of 2 years. If it's life imprisonment, maximum of 3 years. I really hope I'm not muted. The OBS is showing that I'm not muted. Outlawry was a more sensible criminal justice system that makes lawmakers coming up with these days. Too lenient for blatant criminal acts? Yeah. Some confusingly worded gobbledygook? Yeah. Call BIOS on that. Oh, as do I. That's ridiculous. Something you do that would ordinarily get you life imprisonment, you get a 3-year custodial sentence maximum. That's messed up. In the case of an offence set out in Section 239, attempt to commit murder or manslaughter or aggravated sexual assault, Make a custody or supervision order in respect to the young person for a specified period not exceeding 3 years from the date of committal that orders the young person to be committed to a continuous period of custody for the first portion of the sentence and subject to 104, continuation of custody, to serve the remainder of the sentence under conditional supervision in the community. So you attempt to commit murder, you commit manslaughter or aggravated sexual assault, you get a maximum of 3 years, and then the remainder of the sentence is then out in the community under supervision. Subject to Section 5, make a deferred custody and supervision order for a specified period not exceeding 6 months, so they can give a suspended sentence for a maximum of 6 months, subject to the conditions set out in Section 105.2, and to any conditions set out in 105.3 the court considers appropriate. They need to commit these crimes against politicians, lawmakers, instead of innocent civilians. So for a kid, crime does pay in Canada. That's what I'm getting out of it. Yeah, basically. That's what it really feels like. In the States, you get day-for-day credit, so 2 years is really 1 year. Is it the same in Aussie land? I don't believe so, Strong, no. Although, look, Australian sentencing isn't something that I'm hugely through, like, across the, in terms of, like, how it all works. I don't practice in criminal law for a very specific reason. I've been meaning to actually look into it for the purposes of these sorts of things, but it's not something that I have the most amount of experience in, so it's certainly something I can look at, but I don't think so, from memory. Must be me then just cut out with mid-sentence. Now it's back. Weird. I mean, it's not a bad deal. You have the protection of the law in the area where you committed a crime, so there's a permanent cost, but no one has to pay for your incarceration. Okay, Q. Now, they said there was something specific about Q. Order the young person to serve a sentence not to exceed, in the case of first-degree murder, 10 years. Okay, so first-degree murder, you get 10 years. Comprised of a committal to custody to be served continuously for a period that must not exceed 6 years. You commit first-degree murder, you're in custody for 6 years. And then be placed on conditional supervision to be served in the community for the other 4 years. So there you go. In the case of second-degree murder, here we go, maximum of 7 years. So each of those girls could get a maximum of 7 years with a period of 4 years behind bars and the remainder to be served in the community. So yeah, you commit second-degree murder in Canada under the age of 18, 4 years behind jail. 4 years in jail. Even if you knew exactly what you were doing. And then you get 3 years maximum out in the community. Four years for murder, what the fuck? Yep. In the States, it goes by state, even county by county, how much of your sentence you serve. Yes, that is true. That's one of the reasons why I haven't done huge deep dives into American law in terms of like sentencing and that sort of thing, because that would take me fucking forever. Subject to subsection 7, make an intensive rehabilitation order for a period that must not exceed 2 years. Oh, or 3 years if the act would result in life imprisonment. Excuse me. Day for day doesn't happen in every state in the US. Florida, for example, has 80% mandatory sentences. 10 years, you do a minimum of 8. Okay. Alright. First degree, max 10 years. That's effed up. Yeah. Don't tell that to the Slenderman stabby girl in Wisconsin. That. Oh, yeah, that. I'm in favour for replacing prisons with voluntary outlawry in the interior of Alaska, unless you're in Florida, in which you have to, then you have to wade through a mile of Everglade. A mile of Everglade, I like that. Over on Rumble, thank you to the 31 watching there. Thank you, Linda, for hitting the thumbs up and screw YouTube. And Dazza1234, thank you for the done and done. Lovely. Yeah, okay. So you get a whole 2 years of commission to a rehabilitation centre, or 3 if you've committed murder, basically. And that orders the young person to be committed to a continuous period of intensive rehabilitation custody for the first portion of the sentence, and that subject to 104(1) to serve the remainder under supervision in the community. I want to see what Section 105 says. What the supervision actually counts as. Because if it's literally if they're literally released into the custody of their parents, then I have issues. Youth Justice Court statement. Don't really give a shit about any of that. That's fucking messed up. No wonder Canada has so many issues with youth crime. Far out. Like I was bitching and moaning because I thought that certain things were here were ridiculously. Jump to. Oh, hang on. What the fuck happened there? Custody and purpose. 109 to 107. Go. 103. Continuation of custody. 101 to 105. That's 106. Shit, I missed it. Which means it's this one here. Conditional supervision. The provincial director of the province in which a young person whom a youth sentence under paragraph has been imposed is held in custody, or if applicable with respect to someone, shall cause the young person to be brought before the Youth Justice Court at least once a month before the expiry of the custodial portion of the youth sentence. Court shall, after giving the young person an opportunity to be heard by order, set the conditions of the conditional supervision. Conditions to be included. Keep the peace. Oh, fuck off. This is what that... So... It's literally they release them back into the community and they have to report to the court once a month. The young person has to keep the peace and be of good behaviour, appear before the Youth Justice Court as required to do so by the court. Oh, okay, so they can order it be more frequent. Report to the provincial director immediately upon release and then be under the supervision of the provincial director or a person designated by the Youth Justice Court. Inform the provincial director... immediately upon being arrested or questioned by the police, report to the police or any named individual as instructed by the provincial director. Advise the provincial director of the young person's address of residence upon release, and after release, report immediately to the clerk of the Youth Justice Court any change in address, their occupation, employment, vocational, educational training, or volunteer work, the young person's family or financial situation, and anything that may reasonably be expected to affect the young person's ability to comply with the conditions of the order. Fuck. The Youth Justice Court may include in the orders that they travel directly to their place of residence, make reasonable efforts to obtain and maintain suitable employment, attend school or another place of learning, reside with a parent or other adult, reside in a place that the provincial director may specify, remain within the territorial jurisdiction of one or more of the courts named in the order. Fucking hell. So to be clear, people, if they commit second-degree murder or first-degree murder or anything that has a life imprisonment, they serve 3 years behind bars, and then they're released on these provisions. That they have to keep peace and be of good behaviour. That they have to appear before the court when they're required to. And that they have to report... It's like they've been given bail. A maximum 7-year sentence. You spend 4 of those years behind bars, and 3 of them are then basically on bail. That is fucked up. When did this come into effect? When? I'm wondering... When was this? 2002? Jesus Christ, no wonder the country's going to hell in a handbasket. And I missed a shitload of chat. Hang on, I'll be right back. Is it time for the giant asteroid left? Yet? Maybe. I wonder if the laws will be the same for males instead of girls. Well, I mean, it doesn't specify gender. So... It's any youth work camps and training, non-violent, violent, lock them up. Do convicted murderers that get out have to be on a registry? Yes, well, I mean, from the sounds of it, but I don't know whether or not the registry itself is accessible by the community, which is the really interesting thing on that. So, there's that. Leave my backyard alone. Think I can survive the Everglades fairly easily? Rather nail YouTube than screw them. Q Neutron, you're not right, not necessarily wrong though. Been lake hunting in Arkansas. I know a few spots to drop them off. California, anyone arrested goes on a DNA list. Really? We just take over Canada and turn it into the exciting bits from Hunger Games. What we really need is a huge island somewhere where they can just send all the criminals to and let them fend for themselves. Oh wait, they already did that with Australia. Yeah, but I think we can do it better. I really think we can do it better. If we created, say... Actually, you know what? Maybe if there was a nearby neighbour to Australia, where it would be fairly easy to regulate where everyone was. Say if it was split up into 2 major island chains, maybe we could drop a whole people there, leave them with some sheep. But let's not make the mistake that the British did and give them freedom. We continue it as a penal colony, and it actually operates as one, instead of, you know, eventually winding up with hot chicks and a whole bunch of animals that try to kill you. I think it could work, and I think we could make that work. Golden State Killer was busted in part for a family ancestry DNA website. Really? British ship criminals to American colonies too, and just dumped them there. Okay. May take bone violet needed work learn a trade. Okay. Minimum sentencing. Look, I don't know how I feel about minimum sentencing. Look, I do think that the judicial guidelines need to be... There's a difference between minimum sentencing, that is mandatory minimum sentencing written into legislation, and there is a difference between the judicial sentencing guidelines that the judges receive every year. I think that if there is a directive put out that the public are unhappy with the level of sentencing that judges are doing, and that the judicial guidelines need to be reviewed, then I think that that's better than having actual mandatory minimum sentencing. Because look, there's going to be instances where mandatory minimum sentencing will be unjust to someone, and the judge's hands will be tied. What we need is for judges to stop using their discretion to give out ridiculously low sentences. It's any gender, but do also take into account men seem to get shafted far more than girls in the legal system, unless I'm mistaken. No, that's true. Men usually take it up the butt a lot more than the girls do. I know you go in any branch of the US, of the military USA, DNA is in records and shared with law enforcement. New Zealand's mostly empty. Well, no, since the female that will get a massively lighter sentence than a male would change my mind. I'm not even going to bother to waste the energy on that, Jason, because you're right. Sorry, New Zealand, we got an idea. Send them to work the ice fields in Antarctica. That's not a bad idea. Does the last amended bit up the top show what they changed? Last amended. Let's have a look. List of amendments since. More details. Yes, please. Shows citations, dates, any amendments that came into force. Yeah, okay, excellent. Well, that's fine. Fucking show me. Amended citation. So... They changed clause 25, 25, 13, and 24. What the hell? Why are they changing clause 25 so frequently? Act to amend the contents. Oh, okay, no. So that's consequential amendments. Act to amend the Criminal Code, Use Justice Act. Okay, amendments to the Act, the Use Justice Act. What was changed? Amended by adding the following sections after Section 4, certain offences, extrajudicial measures deemed adequate. Extrajudicial measures are presumed to be adequate to hold a young person accountable for failure or refusal referred to in Section 137, and for failure referred to in Section 496 of the Criminal Code, unless the young person has a history of repeated failures or refusals. Okay, so that's basically something was added there to make sure that the judge's arse was covered. Young person's failure or refusal to cause harm or risk of harm to the safety of the public. What's that? Warnings, cautions, and referrals. A police officer shall, before starting judicial proceedings or take any other measures under this Act against a young person alleged to have committed an offence, consider whether it would be sufficient, having regard to the principles set out in Sections 4 and 4.1, to take no further action, warn the young person, administer a caution if a program has been established under Section 7, or with the consent of the young person, refer the young person to a program or agency in the community that may assist the young person not to commit offences. Holy fuck. So basically, they're saying there, rather than bring criminal proceedings against them for an act, the police officer has to sit down and tick off a checklist to say, yes, I've considered this, yes, I've considered this, yes, I've considered this, all the reasons that it might be better to keep the child out of the criminal justice system. Look, I think that's okay, frankly, because, I mean, if they steal a pack of gum, they probably shouldn't be going before a magistrate or a judge. If they murder somebody, I think this is a waste of police time. I think that this should be reworded to include limits on the type of offence. Review of charges by the Attorney General. If a charge for which an appearance, notice, summons, or release order was issued or was undertaken or given is dismissed, withdrawn, or stayed, or the young person is acquitted of the charge, the Attorney General must review any charge pending against the young person under any of the subsections 145 to 2 to 5 of the Criminal Code for failure to comply with Okay. So basically, because you can get charged with failure to appear, or, with a notice or summons or whatever. Basically, if the charges that they're acquitted of relate to their failure to appear, then they have to ignore those charges. They don't... Ordinarily, it would be a separate thing. So if you're issued with a summons to appear to face a charge and you fail to appear, that itself becomes its own charge. Failure to appear at court. They're saying that if the crime that you're supposedly committed, that you have allegedly committed, you're acquitted of, or if the charges are withdrawn, they have to ignore the fact that you didn't show up at court. An arresting officer to advise young person of right to counsel. Every young person who is arrested and detained shall, on being arrested and detained, be advised without delay by the arresting officer of their right to retain and instruct counsel, and be given an opportunity to obtain counsel. Well, why was that not already in there? Notice in case of arrest and detained. If a young person is arrested and detained in custody pending their appearance in court, a peace officer shall, as soon as possible after the young person is detained, give or cause to be given to a parent notice of the arrest. Well, I should fucking well hope so. Detention and release, substitute for social measures prohibited. Peace officer, youth justice court, or justice shall not detain a young person in custody or impose a condition in respect to the young person's release by including it in the undertaking. Oh, so they added... That was one of the most recent things they added. Okay. Review of detention. For the purposes of 525 of the Criminal Code, with respect to a young person who has been charged with an offence for which they are being prosecuted in proceedings by way of summary conviction, every reference to that provision to 90 days or a 90-day is to be read as construed as a reference to 30 days or a 30-day respectively. So they've cut whatever the... So basically it's A, speeding up the trial, but it's also dropping everything from 90 days to 30 days. Interesting. Oh, there you go. Looking here while steaming clothes? No worries, Mel. See what you did there. See, so a two-edged sword, sentencing, nothing is easy. No, nothing is ever easy. Of course not. The military did take my DNA at entry, but like all medical records, I'm sure they've lost them. Hey, Waxing Miracle. Snafu, what'd you miss? Basically, we went through the news articles related to the 8 teenage girls that swarmed and stabbed a man to death, and how thanks to the Youth Justice Act in Canada, they're going to be extraordinarily lenient on them. Literally, 8 girls killed a man, and the most that they can expect to see is 4 years behind bars, because they're all charged with second-degree murder. At most, they will get a 7-year sentence in which 4 years are served behind bars, and 3 years are effectively served on bail. That, to me, is a little bit messed up. I'm not going to lie. Or with the consent of the young person who committed the crime? Yeah. I think prisons need to have violent criminals make holes where there aren't any and fill them up again. As well as making little rocks out of big rocks. Maybe stop the revolving door. That'd be nice. Where is this? Canada. Toronto. You won't kill any more people, will you, little Timmy? No. Well, off you go then. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, if they're going to have a life sentence, then why not give them a life sentence? No clue, honestly. Alaska could make big tourist bucks on having a zone of exclusion. People would pay thousands for a shot at policing the borders. You used to get cautions all the time. You just give the cops a mate's details because they swap the cops every few years. Darren, you're not supposed to do that. So minor is in foster care. The state pays for cost of foster care. Foster parents waive right to talk to police. Conflict of interest. Strong, sorry, I'm not 100% sure what that's in relation to. That could just be that my brain has, like, disconnected, but, needs to be friends don't let friends steal bubblegum. Bail or parole? No. So technically they're still supposed to be under supervised custody, but I read through the limitations on what that supervised custody is, and effectively it's the same as the conditions you would expect when you're on bail. You have to report to the provisional director however many times a week they specify, which may be as little as once a month. And they can tell you not to go to specific areas or to do certain things, whatever. It's not. Look, bail's not even really proper because it's not like you're putting any money up. But no, it's definitely not parole. Because you're still supposed to be serving the remainder of your sentence out in the community. Used to make prisoners manufacture gravel. It just makes them stupid strong. What was that? Send them to North Sentinel Island for their life sentence. Foster parents are paid by the state, so both state versus child. Okay. Supervised release is free bail. Yes. Yeah, there you go. Alrighty. Well, look, I've been talking for an hour and a half on this. I think I might move on to something else, if that's okay. We're going to stick in Canada, because apparently, like, the world's worst McDonald's is finally closing. Which just happens to be located in Canada, apparently. World's worst McDonald's will shut down after nearly 40 years. Canada's fast food store that sparked 900 police call-outs over fights, including one involving a raccoon, will not renew its lease. The infamous McDonald's, based in Ottawa, Canada, which saw more than 900 fights in recent years, will shut down after nearly 40 years of service. Peter Crosswaith, who owns the building in Rideau Street, told CTV that the franchise owner decided not to renew the lease and that the restaurant is set to shut down in April. Did I happen to catch Sleazy in your show a couple of hours ago? Dude, I was asleep. So no, I'm sorry, I haven't seen it yet. It is on my list of things to do. But by all means, guys, once we're through here, go and give Val and Sleazy a look, because it does look like it's going to be a good show. Looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Canada's running to be declared capital of clown world. What the fuck is going on, Canada? You're supposed to be nice. Oh, hang on. Is that actually clearing or not? That's not clearing. Billy Aoki. Hello. Billy Aoki. Hello. How are you? Good morning to you too. The McDonald's, which a former manager dubbed the worst, is mostly known for a viral video footage of a 2013 brawl inside its doors that saw customers trading blows while one man pulled out a raccoon from his jacket. Okay, you can bloody well bet that I'm opening that. Why is that? Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that's just actually the fight. Okay, that's fine. So I can just open that on YouTube. Okay, constant fights and unruly guests triggered more than 800 calls to police in 2018 alone, leading to McDonald's to drop its 24-hour schedule. But Ottawa police reported that they received more than 150 calls late last year. Oh, okay, let's turn down the audio on that. Raccoons are pretty chill unless they have babies, then they'll rip your face off. John got no notification? Oh, really? Canadian ghetto, it seems. Remember the video? Was it a semi-automatic assault raccoon? Alright, hang on, let's have a look at this footage. Holy moly. I want to see the raccoon. Where's the raccoon? Has anyone spotted the raccoon yet? I can't see the raccoon. And yes, I'm going to be pausing this every few seconds so that I don't get copyright claim for this. Okay. From the looks of it, I don't want to say this is racially motivated because it looks like it's two white guys beating on each other, surrounded by a bunch of other ethnicities. And that one guy's just running away. Okay, that guy needs to pull his pants up, but I still don't see any raccoons. Sensible raccoon control now. All raccoons are military grade. All raccoons are fully automatic. Oh, you son of a... Scrollmaster from Half-Baked. This is Quebec, isn't it? I actually don't know if it's Quebec. I'll double check. Maybe the raccoons are all the friends we've made along the way. Still no babies. That was very... You even had me wound up then. Okay, why is this not playing? YouTube really has issues when you play like YouTube videos in full screen. I have no idea why. Alright, so we're like 20 seconds in. Where is this friggin' raccoon? The only reason I'm watching this is for the raccoon. Alright, you know what? I will come back to it. Oh, there's the raccoon! There was a picture! I didn't need to worry. They had a picture of the raccoon! It's Rocket from the MCU. The raccoon shut off the video. Aiden's still using dial-up. It's not me! Saved by the loading icon or copyright loading icon. Well, sorry for the dark humor and late post, but when you were talking about the girls not shouting their name, I imagine the sound off like cheerleaders before each hit. The reason I exist is my great-grandfather lost his farm lease at cards. I'm gambling away your serfdom levels of ratcheting in Quebec. Tiny baby raccoon. Oh, that's not good. Where's Mama? Where's Mama raccoon? He just randomly whipped a raccoon out of his shirt. The video that brought infamy to the Rideau Street McDonald's, which opened in 1985, starts with a group of men brawling outside the restaurant, surrounded by other customers. The men trade vicious blows with each other, and as more join the fight, one man can be seen pulling out a raccoon, appearing to brandish the animal as a weapon before taking a step back from the chaos. Wait, is the video down? No! Is it really? Oh well. No? Okay. Love to know what leads you to the point where you just happen to have a raccoon in your shirt. Drugs are definitely involved. Who brings a raccoon to McDanks in the first place? It's a self-defense raccoon. Do you need a concealed carry permit for the raccoon? Possibly. Possibly. That's just funny. Behold, I cast shield of... Oh, I can't say that on stream. Clitterfart. It's only for protection. Ban assault raccoons. Raccoon gun. I love you guys. Like, so much. Okay. Alright. You can have a raccoon as long as it doesn't have a buttstock. Ammo for the raccoon is acorns. Okay. The man can be seen holding the raccoon as he shoves two others who are fighting besides him. When the brawlers leave the restaurant, many spectators could be seen celebrating the fight that they witnessed. The brawl, however, was not an isolated event, as a video from 2018 shows a group of three men beating each other with wet floor signs during a 1 a.m. fight. It fires rabies. The video, dubbed Legendary Rideau McDonald's, shows the men violently slinging the signs at each other as customers yell at them to stop while some cheer them on. Okay, let me see if I can track this one down too. Maybe that one's going to be better than the other one. The men also trade punches and kicks before one of them picks up a sign and smacks the other on the head before walking away. Crack. Not even once. Don't forget to rack your raccoon before aiming. Apparently these folks have very little in the way of entertainment in these parts. Sounds about right. Things just get difficult when you try to screw on the suppressor. Oh my god, how many videos are there? This place, they, like... Man puts dead raccoon on McDonald's table? Ugh. Oh, although that's in San Francisco. Crazy woman in Ottawa McDonald's Rideau Street warning strong language. It's McDonald's UFC. I can see why they're closing the place down. Good thing he didn't have full capacity. Laughing my ass off, rack your raccoon. So what happens when an entire bar of people go to a place to eat that doesn't have chips on the table to snack on. If someone had brought a Wolverine, it would have been over for him. Raccoon lives matter. I just watch hundreds of fast food fight videos. Oh, shit. Oh, that's the YouTube short one. Hopefully this one will play without too much of an issue.
I fucking told you. That's a going YouTube, man.
Ooh. Oh, I can think of nicer things to whack each other with than the wet floor signs. I mean, come on, someone's going to slip over. Ooh. Oh, no, see, that's not okay. I mean, for starters, look, he's got the wrong, like, posture there. The kick was completely out of place. He's trying for a bitch slap at the same time. Moron. The guys in the background, just, like... The guys in the background are still going at it. Like, seriously. I can kind of understand exactly why they've closed down this McDonald's. I really can, based on the number of videos. Ooh! Ooh! Ooh, that was not nice. Remember, people, I'm in no way glorifying violence. This is purely because I'm interested in the news article case of this. Can almost smell the rancid fry oil. Favorite trip and gas station counters? Okay. I mean, White's way out of his depth. Oh, Jesus, Val. Full leg kick at grappling range. Can you imagine being the owner of this store? Millions lost, or was it corporate? Corporate have decided to not renew the lease, so they've closed it down. The McWWF! So there's that. That fight was more than 800th for the year. That ultimately triggered the then Ottawa Chief Police Charles Bordelot to send a letter to Canada's McDonald's leadership about the ongoing criminal activity and social disorder. So rather than put security guards in, they made them close. Along with the fights, the restaurant was also plagued by the onslaught of disorderly customers, many with interactions filmed. One incident in 2016 shows a man cursing at staff who were yelling at him to get out. He then proceeds to take off his shirt and warn employees not to touch him. 800 in a year. Did you guys miss that? Yes. 800 in 1 year. More than 2 a day. Yep. You're interested because it's funny? Well, there's that too. But look, I've got to be careful because YouTube put an age restriction on my video the other day because I showed the footage of the security guard getting his ass beat by the white supremacist. Despite the fact that was purely to cover the assault case, YouTube decided that I was showing it gratuitously. So, I've got to be a little bit more careful with the things that I show. But given that they've got that as a YouTube short, if they try and claim me on this one, good fucking luck to them. Sorry, nose is going. Sure it ain't Chicago. Very sure. It's worse than your local KFC. Just watch the raccoon video. Guy walks up, pulls it out of his hoodie like it was nothing. It's around 35 seconds into the video. What vid was that? I missed it. Well, you probably can't even see it, Alex. Jay, it's... You have to be logged into YouTube and verify the age is over the age of 18 in order to even see the video. That was my one on the Wizards of the Coast and D&D 1GL license. So that's the live, not the actual video. But basically there was so Channel 9 and A Current Affair were doing a news story on a white supremacist here in Melbourne, the neo-Nazi Thomas Sewell. And hang on, actually, let me change the scene here. That should have brought me up nice and big, I believe. Nope, there's a transition. Basically, he showed up and they wouldn't let him upstairs to talk to the producers because he was upset about how he was going to be portrayed in the news segment. On his way out, he continued filming in the lobby. He was then ushered out of the building by a gentleman of colour. I'm unsure if he was definitely of African descent. And basically, as he was showing them out, they said something racist to him. It's still unclear from the footage whether or not he gave a shove or whatever, but he was basically ushering the cameraman out. Thomas Sewell from the behind then sucker punched him and King hit him. The security guard went down on the floor. Thomas Sewell continued to punch him. Now that footage was disturbing, to say the least. But given that footage was also played on various news channels, I do not understand why my footage of it was the one that was age-restricted and shadow banned. And I put that in a very specific email, and I threatened legal action against YouTube, and they completely ignored me. They do not care if it is mainstream media that are pushing things like that. But they will do whatever the fuck they like to censor your small channels. Just keep that in mind, people. So. But yes, that video is out there. Yay! And that works. I love it when that works. Always find it weird how local station channels can play videos to get other channels banned outright. Others, no questions asked. Yeah. Very weird to you? Yeah. Well. For some reason gas stations have great hot dogs, maybe because they're cheap. I've never had a gas station hot dog. I don't intend to. Must be selling more than food. At Chicago, someone will be shot for just for the disrespect of being hit with a wet floor sign. Another video from that year shows a woman who appears disorientated, yelling at staffers for her bag as they try and keep her away and direct her outside the restaurant. The incidents and pleas from police eventually led to the 24-hour restaurant to reduce its hours to 6 AM to 10 PM, and although the fights were no longer as prevalent, they were still a constant presence. Yo, bro, we got issues. We're gonna go take it up with the gang next door. We're gonna head down to the McDonald's, get it sorted out then and there. What do you reckon? Fucking hell.
I have more things that you will ever do. Not touch me. Get out! You think you're tough? You think you're tough? I'm tough too. I'm tough too. I'm just a bigger pussy than you have.
I should see whether I could turn on the closed captions for that. Hang on. Hang on. Gonna get worse this year. YouTube's teamed up with professional censor tech. Oh, fantastic. McDonald's needs its own police substation. Would you like a fist with your shake? Ooh. Oh, really? Just because I put the captions on? I switched over to Brave because this shit was supposed to stop. Anyway. Despite the fights and unruly customers, Crossway suggested the McDonald's decision to not renew their lease with him was a result of dipping revenue, not because of the regular chaos, but because of the city's changing infrastructure. Oh yeah, sure. Fuck. Actually, will this let me play this video now?
Mark! Oh, Mark! I have more things that you will ever do. Do not touch me! Get out! You think you're tough? You think you're tough? I'm tough too. I'm tough too. I'm just a bigger pussy than you have.
I got a better pussy than you have. You think you're tough? Rave has bits of issues. Try the beta version. Okay, I'll give it a shot. Something similar about all these videos. No comment. 800 fights in 1 year. Don't think the business hour restriction makes a difference. Oh no.
I bet you do. I bet you do. Okay, do not. Mark! Come, Mark! Who's Mark? Who's Mark?
Who's Mark?
Go inside, tell Mark's home, please.
I don't quite understand why he felt the need to take his shirt off. You're using Brave, we can tip you. Really? This is disgusting French. Okay. Look at my googly eyes jiggly.
Take him out.
Do not touch my staff because
Get out then!
I will get crazy. Do not touch me.
Get out, please!
Do not touch
Get
me.
out! Get out!
Do not touch me.
Get
Do
out!
not touch me.
Get
Do not
out!
touch
Okay, let's be clear. Let's break this down from a legal standpoint. At this point, this gentleman is legitimately trespassing in the property. He has been asked to remove. He did technically have a right to be there to enter the public space for a specific purpose of ordering food and... Sorry, it's not a public space. It's a private enterprise. His license to enter the premises has been revoked. They are telling him to move. He is trespassing. They would be well within their rights to call the police and have him removed. There you go, YouTube. There's my legal commentary. You happy?
touch me. Do not touch
Get
me.
out.
Do not touch me.
Get out.
Do not touch me. Do not
Get
touch
out.
me.
Do not touch me.
My tits are fucking bigger than yours.
My tits are bigger than yours. He's just angry.
Okay, do not touch me. I can get out, but do not touch me.
Get out then
Do
now!
not touch me. Fuck you!
Fuck you too!
Fuck you!
Fuck you too! Get out now!
Peace has a taller girls. He took off his shirt because everyone wants to be the American hood. Okay. That's my purse. I don't know you.
Oh my god. Is somebody touch my
Please make him put his shirt back on.
I have a bigger pussy than you.
I bet you do!
Oh my god. Don't put that in your tooth. You piece of shit. Don't put that.
You're a piece of shit. Get out!
Okay, I think that's enough of that. Fucking hell. If that's the sort of shit that I dealt with 800 times in a year, he's got a problem with size. He's trying to convince me it's bigger than it is. Leave my micro out of this, damn it. Oh, shit. But apparently the store owner was blaming the city infrastructure. The city tore up Rideau Street and put a subway in. Then they retore it to enhance it and put in curbing. The freedom rallies, and we've all had COVID, all the things or upheavals that cannot make it easy for steady, reliable operation. Oh yeah, and I'm sure it's got nothing to do with that. What do you expect when you have 10k homeless outside? What do they fight over? No clue. How dare you downsize my Big Mac, bitch? Listen to the accent, it sounds like he's not from Canada. I don't know what to tell you. McDonald's Canada did not immediately respond to the Daily Mail's request for comment. Is this what I'm going to play, or is this going to be a pain?
Long back!
Two deserve 15 an hour. Oh no, I'm not getting copyright stricken for fucking music in the back of the thing. Dude just wanted his McRib.
What? Ben! Where's my bag? I need to leave, please. Where's my bag? Don't worry. Wash up! You think you're gonna take over because you're...
Okay, so plenty of crazy people, basically. Oh, comments. Canada sounds like every Waffle House in South Carolina. I thought it was New York City. And people thought Canadians were friendly. Nightly special raccoon burgers now available. Oh shit! I want to see that raccoon video. Is it gonna? Oh no, that's the fight. That's the shorts fight. Where's the raccoon? I want to see the raccoon. I want to see if the raccoon video plays again. They are really laying into each other. McDonald's is the Walmart of fast food. No, that's Waffle House. The big rack. Canada using the metric system's the issue? Oh, shit. Just because you guys don't know how to math. Look how big that guy is. Looks like he's working at Mickey D's. Better get swole. McDonald's needs its own YouTube live feed. Well, it's only there till April, so we've only got 2 more months worth of funny news stories to come out of that place. Okay, so we've got battery, we got a fray. We got 10. Okay, still got 10 seconds till the guy pulls out the bunch of heathens. So we got 10 seconds till the guy pulls out the raccoon. Well, let's have a look. All right, here we go. Where's the dude with the raccoon? Show me the raccoon. There it is. He just randomly pulls out a raccoon. Show me raccoon. Where is it? I will go. God, I don't want to be responsible for that though. A lot of people thought the trucker convoy was too much ruckus. Yeah, well, I am Groot. Couldn't pay me enough to work there. Hell no. Hell no. Just screaming. But I think the raccoon's gone. Oh, and that older lady just walked in and she's trying to calm everyone down. Are you serious? Lady, you're going to get yourself killed. A true raconteur. Beaver would have been so much better. Oh, alright. Alright. That's enough of that, unfortunately. Alright. Local lawyer interrupts a traffic stop to defend a stranger. Talk about service with a smile. This one reminded me so much of a story that my wife told me. Someone she used to work with in personal injury. So they deal with transport accidents, they deal with personal injury lawsuits, all that sort of stuff. They were travelling from one office to another, and they witnessed a motor vehicle accident. After getting out, making sure that everyone was okay, that the ambulance would be called, all that sort of stuff, they proceeded to hand out cards to both occupants of each vehicle. And said, give me a call. Oh, God. Reminds me of the good old days at the bar. What do you do for a living? I'm a referee at McDonald's. Only the military's allowed to have beavers in Canada. Of course the grift never ends. Get to work where you can. They should have installed water hoses and just turned them on when the dogs started fighting. I reckon that would probably be an insurance liability, honestly, because then you got a wet floor. And in that other fight, they couldn't lay out the wet floor signs. So I totally wasn't surprised by the appearance of the guy who had the raccoon. Surprised by the raccoon, but he definitely looked like the guy who would have one. Okay. Local lawyer interrupts traffic stop to defend stranger in Hollywood. Sorry, Homewood. Where's Homewood? And is this going to play? Imagine if he had a combat moose, the carnage. Oh. I love that. Screw it. Pittsburgh lawyer claims everything changed when she showed up to a traffic stop in Homewood. Pictures and videos of the stop made the rounds on social media, with everyone asking why did the police pull that man over and what are the police searching for. KDKA's Megan Schiller found the man pulled over by police and asked him, I turned my turn signal on, made the left, and he turned on his lights and told me the reason they stopped me is that I didn't turn my turn signal on. Pittsburgh police pulled over Trewayne West in Homewood for that traffic violation, but a picture of the traffic stop spread quickly on social media. They all got out of the car, they were all surrounding the car, flashing their flashlights, and one officer said, oh, there's weed right there. West claims police saw a small butt of weed near his emergency brake, and that sparked the search. He claimed he no longer smoked weed due to his job and the fact that he's in school for his CDL license. but he believed it remained in his car from past use of marijuana. He told KDKA he stood handcuffed for nearly 45 minutes while officers searched his car. This lady just pops up and said she was my lawyer and everything changed, said West. Attorney Kate Lovelace doesn't know West. A community activist called her and alerted her to the stop, and she drove right there. I said, I'm here to represent him, and he said, what's his name? And I said, what's your name? And he said, Terrain West. And he asked Terrain if I was his lawyer, and I asked Terrain if he wanted me as his lawyer, and he said, yes. Well, no shit, that's generally how the interactions go. The fuck is a Homewood? I think it's a suburb, from the sounds of it. Moose Willis. Hang on. No, Moose Willis doesn't need to be involved in that shit. He's a good man, Moose. Moose Willis. And there you have it. Instant lawyer. But in plain sight, and he just left it there, not buying that story. Especially not after watching that video of the cop. Oh, hang on.
How much that narrative changed and how much the dynamic changed and how different they treated him because some white lady in pajamas showed up without any identification and said, I'm here to represent him.
Local lawyer claiming everything changed when she showed up at a traffic stop in Homewood. Thanks for joining us at 6. I'm Ken Rice.
And I'm Kim Gable. Pictures and videos of the stop making the rounds on social media. So we went digging for answers.
KDK investigator Megan Schiller joins us to explain why this woman advocated for a man she didn't even know. Megan.
It's a story about the community coming together, or looking out for each other at least. Nothing bad happened during that police traffic stop, at least in the sense of no one got arrested and no one got hurt. But a pseudo-friendship kind of came to be. This is the Pittsburgh police traffic stop shared all over social media this week. People asked, why did he get pulled over? And what are they searching for? We found the driver and asked him.
I turned my turn signal on, made the left. He turned his lights on and told me the reason why he stopped me was because I didn't turn my turn signal on.
Pittsburgh police pulled Terrain West over in Homewood, and this picture of the traffic stop spread quickly on social media.
They all got out the car. They were surrounding the car, flashing their flashlights, and the one officer said, "Oh, there's weed right there."
He claims police saw this near his...
Are you freaking kidding me? Like, I'm sorry, I realize I've paused it so the... Like, that's how small it is. The fucking play button is covering that tiny-ass little bud. And that was their justification. What's the rest of the story? It has to be more to this. Yeah, there's got to be.
Emergency brake.
They're not going to be that blatant
and
about
that sparked the search. He tells KDKA he stood handcuffed for nearly 45 minutes until...
And this lady just pops up and says she was my lawyer. And everything changed.
Use your privilege, baby. Use your privilege.
Attorney Kate Lovelace doesn't know...
Use your privilege, baby. Use your privilege. That may as well not exist. It's not a bit of bud, it's crumbs. Couldn't get a raccoon high off that itty bit. Call us what, guys? We have 100 tenths of a gram here. Always use your turning indicator signals at risk getting pulled over. How did you use that at night and realise it's being so small from outside the car? You repaid her later that night. Oh, God. That was to piss them off. It says at the bottom of the story he was on parole for a gun charge. Okay. Oh, shit. Now it's going to do this. Oops. I left it too long. They have to have known him from previous behaviour. Yeah. The fact that the police's, like, the way that they acted completely changed when a white lady lawyer has shown up, though, that tells me that they knew that they were acting inappropriately, even if he was on parole for a gun charge. Where are we? I'm here, representative. Yes, Lovelace told KDKA she didn't want to interfere in the investigation of traffic stop, but wanted to simply provide support to West. She came and saved the day, said West. Probably have him on a list too. Yeah, probably. That bud is hard road back to jail. Shortly after Loveless told KDKA, Pittsburgh police removed the handcuffs and gave West a warning. So shortly after she shows up, they remove the handcuffs and give him a warning. Probably figured it was less work to wait for him to screw up than argue with a Karen. Newspaper lists the crumb worth $20,000, second largest seizure of the year. What the f... You gotta be joking. A relief lover said since West was on parole for prior gun and drugs charges. Okay. He would have lost his job, he would have been disenrolled from school, his girlfriend would have been left to care for the baby by herself. KDKA learned officers in the home that were in Homewood that day were part of a larger investigation pertaining to the area. Police told KDKA that they are not at liberty to discuss the details. I'm shocked. Under Biden inflation, it's worth at least 6 eggs. West told KDKA that he worked for the city of Pittsburgh for the past 2 years. I want people to feel safe and protected and not have to worry about getting profiled because of the colour or what their car looks like. The US no-fly list is now public. There's 1.5 million people on it. No shit.
West. A community activist called her and she drove right there.
And said, my name is Kate Lovelace and I'm an attorney and I'm here to represent him. And he said, what's his name? And I said, what's your name? And he said, Tehran West. And I said, Tehran West.
Oh, so I was I
and
misspelled.
He asked Tehran
that.
if I was his lawyer, and I said, do you want me to be your lawyer? And Tehran said, yes.
Lovelace tells me she didn't want to stop or interfere in any investigation, just wanted to provide support.
When she came, she saved.
You're not on the list, so you need to up your game.
Saved the day.
Shortly after, Pittsburgh police uncuffed West and gave him a warning. Lovelace says the search didn't turn up anything, a relief since West's on parole for prior gun and drug violations.
He would have lost his job. He would have been
Okay, question. For any of you that are in the US, how, if you have been pulled over and have you had your car searched, I'm not asking you to admit to anything, I'm just purely questioning this specific bit. How long did that search take? If you have been pulled over and had your car searched, how long did the police take? And were you handcuffed during that entire period as well? She's there to fluffed. Less than 30 minutes, yes? Zero signal took an hour? Never let them not without a warrant. No, nor should you. 20 minutes, but it was pouring rain and I wasn't cuffed. At the border about 45 minutes. 20 minutes or so. Okay. Never had my car searched because I've never had weed all over my car. Jesus, Dooney, you're really going tough on this guy. It was literally a tiny bud sitting on his console. 30 to 45 minutes, no cuffs, sat in the front of police SUV. Always tell them warrant first. Not cuffed. Border is definitely different. 45 minutes and yes, you were cuffed. Search took way too long in my opinion, they were out to get him. Did they say he had prior violent charges and is actively on parole? I don't think they said he was actively on parole. I think they said that he had prior charges. Where was it? Oh no, he was on parole for prior gun and drug charges. No, all good, Caitlin. He's riding dirty. Less than 30 minutes and no cuffs because they found nothing. Yeah. Crumb chased lawyer.
His girlfriend would have been left to
15
care
to
for
20
the baby
minutes,
by
you're not
herself.
cuffed.
KDKA learned officers were in Homewood Monday for what they called, quote, part of a larger investigation pertaining to the area, saying...
Wait, Linda. They took your weed and bong but let you go? Linda, you are a fascinating person.
At liberty to discuss the details.
I don't know, it made me feel targeted.
West works for the city for the past 2 years and says he hopes for this.
I want people to feel safe.
You started pointing out the hidden compartment until a cop got mad enough to let you go. Only you, Val.
Profile because of their color or what their car looks like.
And Lovelace says that she feels like, if
Couple of
anything,
hours.
her experience shows that sometimes you have to use your privilege, and she said she was happy to do so, if anything, just to make West feel a little better in that moment. Reporting live tonight, Megan Schiller, KDKA News.
People say the marijuana charges are outrageous, but they forget the ATF is still putting people away for homemade whiskey. Like 10 minutes, but they did it without probable cause, and he had to get my weed back. I had a pipe taken as a teen, they never charged me, probably stole it. I had a lot of interesting things in the car, so they took their time. Rule 1, folks, don't talk to the police. Rule 2, I want my lawyer not without a warrant. Abso-friggin-lutely. Linda's a dom, so of course she's interesting. My daily driver now only has the front seats. The rear is a roll cage and NOS bottles. Oh, shit. Not many places to hide stuff because it's stripped as it can be. Oh, shit. Okay. Moving on. So Rolex is suing a company that makes toy clocks for kids, claiming people may confuse the two. Makes complete sense for a company to want to protect a well-established brand, but Rolex does Rolex really want to worry about consumers potentially mistaking a colourful $25 learning clock for a luxury timepiece that costs tens of thousands of dollars or more? Yeah, apparently they really are worried about it. According to the BBC, Oyster & Pop, a small family-run business originally started by Emma Ross McNairn and her sister Sarah Davies, after the two lost their jobs back in 2020 as a result of the bug, the company sells educational products, including an analog wall clock featuring bright colours and additional text and markings, designed to teach kids how to read the time on non-digital displays. You can find them on sale on Amazon for about $25 to $30. The company's unique name, Oyster & Pop, was inspired by a road, Oyster Bend, which is where the family grew up in England. But it's that unique name that Rolex, a company that was valued at $8 billion last year and is synonymous with luxury, has an issue with. One of Rolex's most recognisable watch models is the Oyster Perpetual, named for the company's first model to feature a hermetically sealed case that keeps water and dust out to protect the delicate mechanical movement inside. What's the name of the clock? Oyster. Well, the company is Oyster & Pop. Okay. Where do we go? Lawyers representing Rolex want Oyster & Pop to change the company's name and all of its branding, including its logo and website, because the watchmaker worries the average consumer, who is probably not in a position to drop $5,000 US on a watch, does nothing but tell time, will assume Oyster & Pop's clocks are associated with or directly from the Swiss company. The sisters have responded to the watchmaker with a 9-page letter highlighting reasons why the business felt its claim from Rolex were unjust, and has even offered an agreement where Oyster & Pop would never produce an adult watch or would never change its name to just Oyster. But Rolex's lawyers aren't budging, and according to Business Matters, Ross McNair says changing all of Oyster Pop's branding to comply with Rolex's demands would be an unbearable financial burden for the small business. The two companies have had a legal run-in before, with Rolex previously preventing the sisters from securing a trademark in the United States for their clocks through a trademark dispute that was too expensive for Oyster & Pop to legally defend, so Rolex USA won by default. Afterwards, the sisters complied with a request from Rolex's legal team to simply change their trademark filing from International Class 14 for clocks to IC 12 for toys and games. International Class 28 for toys and games. But Rolex apparently decided that is no longer enough and is now demanding a complete rebranding of the company. Oyster & Pop currently has a petition on change.org, help stop Rolex from closing down a small women-owned family business with over 70,000 signatures from supporters. How fucking pathetic. That's what the clocks look like from Oyster & Pop. Those are toy clocks that they've been producing. You know what? Just to stick it up Rolex as well, because I find this detestable, let's have a look at their store. And maybe let's share this around, shall we? Rolex is completely overrated. Absolutely. Where are we? What an absolute joke. Yeah, I'm sorry. If anyone thinks that's going to get mistaken for a Rolex, like, seriously. I'm actually looking at this and thinking that I want to buy one for my daughter to help her learn time. Rolex run on status? Yeah. Casio's better. Rolex realized the design will win the luxury consumer luxury market. You clearly mistake that for a Rolex. No import fees, $12 shipping to Australia. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to buy one of these. I'm legitimately going to buy one of these for my daughter because it will help her learn to tell time. Looks like the clock from a kindergarten class. That's exactly what it's supposed to be. Need to check the company first to make sure they aren't evil, but yeah, probably buy one just to say F Rolex. $24 candy-coloured Rolex. I doubt it. Exactly. Sounds like something someone who doesn't own a Rolex would say. I will never own a Rolex. I don't like the brand in general. Ever watch those YouTube watches selling $500,000 crazy? Anyone who gives a happy rat's ass about these ridiculous Rolex clocks is not going to mistake the two. Hell no. Wearing a Rolex is just asking to get mugged. That too. So I'm going to leave that open because I'm going to buy one of those, frankly. Alrighty. I was going to save this for Kinky Corner, but now we're going to move on because it's just too funny. Tori Spelling admits to subscribing to Denise Richards' OnlyFans account under a fake name and dropping $400 in 2 days. Denise Richards spoke out in support of her 18-year-old daughter's OnlyFans account over the summer, despite her ex-husband Charlie Sheen's disapproval, and then followed up by opening her own page on the adult content subscription service. Turns out one of her friends, Tori Spelling 49, is among those who signed up to the content the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills alum 51 has shared on her OnlyFans account. In fact, the former Beverly Hills 90210 star confessed to signing on with a fake name and spending $400 in just 2 days. I'm actually perfectly okay with this. Well, for anyone that's in the Discord, you'll also see that Iggy Azalea may have been cost a few million because all the content that she was planning on putting on OnlyFans has been leaked online. Who the fuck's going to pay $25 a month for that when you can get it for free? Flavor Flav would approve. Missed it. How is this even associated with Rolex? Because the company's name is Oyster, and they reckon their flagship watch model is also called Oyster. So they reckon that that's enough of a distinction to make it. They're just trying to crush them underfoot. They really are. Some don't believe in aliens, but I'm certain they walk among us. I'm seeing one right now. Spelling explained her motivation for wanting to see what Richards was posting on the X-rated service during an appearance on SiriusXM's Jeff Lewis Live. That's a hell of a name, okay. I've been friends with her for years. I'm just kind of fascinated by the whole OnlyFans, and I'm not going to lie, I was like, let me check it out. What's it going to entail? One of the first things she learned was that she needed to pay for a subscription to gain entry to Richards' account. No shit, you think? That is generally how OnlyFans works. So I looked at it, and of course it was something like, unless you subscribe, you can't get it. So of course I subscribed under a fake name. It's riveting. I just wanted to see, it's my friend. I'm like, how far is she going? Spelling proceeded to confess that she was more than intrigued by what she might find on her account. Wow, I really feel like this is just her trying to stay relevant. It's riveting because they're like, hey, we might show you this in the shower, and I just wanted to see. It's my friend. I'm like, hey, how far is she going to go? The mother of five then gave her opinion on how OnlyFans try to get people to spend more money. They say allegedly that if you tip them, they'll get back to you faster. So I was like, hey, love what I'm seeing. Would like to see some more, she told Lewis, adding, I ended up in the course of 2 days spending about $400. She's a friend. Send her a text message. Damn, she got old. Didn't spend a dime, by the way. It was my Opus. Okay. Face that only a plastic surgeon would love. Lewis quickly followed up by asking whether the $400 was spent on Denise, after confirming that all the money was in fact spent on the Wild Thing star. Spelling emphatically admitted, God, she looks good. Really? Richards launched her OnlyFans account last summer, shortly after her daughter, Sammy Sheen, joined the service. At the time, the Starship Troopers actress, good God, imagine that being what people refer to you as, called the social platform really empowering for the creators to be true to their authentic self. You own your content. The other sites, they can sell your content, the 51-year-old explained during an interview to KTLA in the past July. We all post pictures of ourselves in bathing suits on Instagram and some of the other sites that there's no real difference other than you own the content. Richards would go on to defend her daughter's decision to create an OnlyFans account. A lot of us have posted pictures of ourselves on Instagram in a bikini that might be perceived as risque. And if my daughter chooses to post a picture of herself in a bathing suit on OnlyFans, why would she get backlash on that, but not on Instagram? That's a very good question. Zero still on Top Chat. Remember how hot those two used to be? I was never a Tory Spelling fan. Richards, yeah. And I'm a little bit disappointed. Not gonna lie. It's not that she got old, the plastic stands out. I wasn't talking about spelling. Best ever $400 advertising spend. Come on now, you guys drop super chats on each other. Now, granted, this is through OnlyFans. Yeah, to be fair, I drop super chats when it's appropriate and to the people that I don't have direct contact with. Admittedly, Joe the other night, I sent him a super chat for a very specific reason. Any other day of the week, I'm messaging him on WhatsApp. Oh, come on, really? More documents found at Biden's home? I wasn't dissing Starship Troopers. I'm dissing the fact that she hasn't done anything better since. I love the movie. That movie from the 90s, oof, nothing more recent. Exactly. I have never posted a pic of me in a bikini on Instagram. No, I would not. Oh, actually, maybe if I already had, like, queasiness and I needed something to get the throw up going, maybe one. Wait, you mean paying you doesn't mean we get to have sex? Fuck no. Watch nothing get done about the documents. We'll have a look at those in a minute. Dizzy was the hotter one in Starship Troopers anyway, the blonde. Yeah, not gonna lie. Okay, alright. Oh good, thank God, we made it to the bottom of the... Okay, alright. Okay, hang on. Documents found... Biden. Excuse me. Biden has no regrets on handling of declassified documents. Dumbass. Okay. 6 more classified documents. Okay. Search Biden's home by DOJ. Find 6 more classified documents. New search at President Joe Biden's home in Washington, Delaware by Department of Justice authorities that lasted more than 12 hours on Friday found 6 more documents marked classified, the president's lawyer said in a statement on Saturday evening. The documents join a group of other classified documents records previously discovered this month at Biden's Wilmington residence and in November at the private office that he maintained in Washington, D.C. think tank after ending his tenure as vice president in the Obama administration in 2017. Attorney General Merrick Garland earlier this month appointed a special counsel to investigate Biden's retention of government records after he was vice president. Former President Donald Trump is under criminal investigation by other special counsel for taking hundreds of classified records and other government documents from the White House when he left the office. Breaking news, check back for updates. Fox News? I'm shocked. Hang on. What was this? 7:12 p.m. Okay, so this has just come out. Oh no, that's from the day before, so people have already seen that.
President Biden remains defiant over the scandal involving his mishandling.
You reckon they're getting ready to swap him out? Keeps up, we'll have a cackling Kamala for president. Even if a piece of paper was taken from a government building, what the fuck's a big deal? You're telling me there are no copies out there in existence? Why is this not... Justice Department seized additional records from President Biden's Wilmington home during a search conducted on Friday, Fox News has learned. Justice Department conducted a search beginning at 9:45 a.m, went through till 10:30 p.m, covered all working, living and storage spaces in the home, according to personal attorney Bob Bauer on Saturday evening. By agreement with the DOJ, representatives from both the legal team and the White House counsel's office were present. DOJ had full access to the president's home, including personally handwritten notes, files, papers, binders, memorabilia, to-do lists, schedules, and reminders going back decades. Reminders going back decades? Dude, learn to have a fucking paper shredder. Jesus Christ. Where do you even start with explaining that one? I don't know. Honestly, Government. Would you like to know more? Recently finished listening to the audiobook of Starship Troopers. The book is very different. Really? The DOJ took possession of materials it deemed within the scope of the inquiry, including 6 items consisting of documents with classification markings and surrounding materials, some of which were from the president's service in the Senate, and some of which were from his tenure as vice president. DOJ also took for further review personally handwritten notes from the vice presidential years. Bauer added that the president's team has attempted to balance the importance of public transparency where appropriate with the established norms and limitations necessary to protect the investigation's integrity. We'll continue to do so throughout the course of our cooperation with the DOJ. Oh, for God's sakes. Biden remains defiant. I think they meant incontinent. Senate Democrats in full support of investigation into Biden document scandal, irresponsible and disturbing. Well, I fucking wonder why.
All right, Katie, this has been a big question, of course, not just in light of what happened with Trump's documents, but also now with Biden. You know, is it an accepted thing? How common is this? What has your reporting found?
Yeah, Caitlin, this kind of classified spillage happens almost literally every day. And most of the time, it's completely accidental. An employee accidentally takes home a classified document in a briefcase. In one example that we were told, the employee found a classified document that had been accidentally attached to an unclassified travel itinerary. He slept with it under his pillow for a night, returned it the next day, and that was that. Most of these cases are dealt with administratively, internally, with a simple conversation with the...
Which is all well and good, because yes, I can understand that simple things like that may happen. But there was, what, a 4-year gap where Biden was not in relation to the government? How is it not a thing where at the end of an administration you don't have the DOJ sweeping through a member for Parliament's house to make sure that they haven't got anything that they're not supposed to? That, I feel, should be a thing. I mean, could you imagine them going through Obama's house? Well, I mean, Obama was president, so he could just declassify things. Anyone that doesn't have the right to have those documents after they're out of Congress, that I think that you should have people sweeping the house to make sure there's no documents. Spillage, they're trying really hard on this one. You spin me right around, baby, right around. Regular people get hard time for mishandling classified documents. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're acting like it is a big deal. Since it was acting as elected VP, he might have some immunity. No, it depends how it's written, honestly. Giving people government as an excuse for horrific acts is not okay. That is true. Equal justice under the law is on life support these days. Fucking tell me about it.
The security officer at the agency in question. Now, of course, in more severe cases, there can be penalties such as losing your security clearance or even being fired. But part of the reason this is so common, Caitlin, is simply the law of large numbers. There are over 4 million security clearance holders floating around out there. And some national security officials will also acknowledge that the U.S. government has a pretty big problem with overclassification. There are just millions and millions and millions of pieces of classified information, not all of which are exquisite.
On Thursday, CNN this morning... Oh, fuck you. Discussed President Biden and former President Donald Trump's separate classified document scandals. I'm sure they did. During the segment, CNN reporter Katie Bo-Lillis noted that misplacing classified documents in unprotected locations is common, saying it happens every day. Look, it probably does. But I'm sorry. I feel like Vice President, President, whoever the fuck else is at the top, should have a higher standard applied to them. Has hundreds of thousands of documents and they don't care. This is the fucky part about the Trump thing. VP has no inherent rights to handle or transport classified material without express written permission from POTUS, which would have to have been lodged at the time. Never heard of the law of large numbers? Really? You never heard of that, Guy Micton? Well, that's like statistics and math. The way the classification system gets around the First Amendment is based on contract. If you receive access because of election rather than contract, it takes the teeth out of the law. Well, look, in that case, at some point, it may be something that I get someone on to talk about, because it's a, comes with perks. I get Apple TV perks with Xbox? Why the fuck would... Okay, anyway, doesn't matter. I'll look at that later. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want to fuck it up, so I'll get someone that can actually explain that, but I am aware of the gist of what the law of large numbers is. In my understanding of it, basically, when you've got so many of a large number, something is statistically bound to happen at least once. And that's why coincidences technically aren't really coincidences. So... But anyway, that's my very rudimentary understanding of it. Pressure's building on President Biden and administration to show some Senate Democrats are now saying they support... As some Senate Democrats now say they support a full investigation into his mishandling of the classified documents found at his home and former office disclosed earlier this month. The reports about President Biden's mishandling of classified documents is extremely irresponsible and disturbing. These allegations should be investigated fully, said Senator Joe Manchin, Democrat, West Virginia, told the Fox News Digital on Friday. If you ask 100 women something, at least one of them's going to say yes, it's a numbers game. Yeah. Quantum physics sort of thing? I don't know how it links to quantum physics. I just know it as statistical probability. So, for example, if something is a 1 in a million shot, but you have a million chances at it, at least one of those is going to turn out to be a positive result. Anyway, there's got to be better ways to explain that, and I will... If the odds of something happening to someone are 1 in a million, how many million people exist? Well, yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. So if something's a 1 in a million chance, and there are 7 million people, the law of large numbers says that that thing is going to occur at least 7 times. Yeah, probability is a better way of looking at it, yeah. news raises serious concerns about the appointment of unbiased special prosecutors to investigate the matter in the right step. Last week, Attorney General Merrick Garland appointed a special counsel, former US Attorney Robert Hur, to investigate the now president's mishandling of documents from his time as vice president. Manchin and Kaine joined a noticeably small list of Democrats who have spoken out about the Biden document scandal, while most, especially those up for re-election in 2024, have been reluctant to address the situation. Representative Katie Porter, Democrat for California, who announced earlier this month she would be seeking Senator Dianne Feinstein's Democrat for California Senate seat, even though Feinstein is yet to announce her retirement, told Fox after a Tuesday town hall event that lawmakers definitely wanted to get answers from the White House concerning the documents. Classified documents being in classified settings, belong in classified settings, and I think you heard me say oversight is not a partisan thing. Good oversight means you're willing to hold any rule breaker to account. We should be asking for answers in a respectful way, and we should be expecting honest ones. Damn straight. Well, yeah, I kind of figured you'd sort that out. Because you certainly would know that better than I would. The worst part was Biden didn't even know they were classified. He thought he was collecting baseball cards. Oh, shit. Okay. So, in news that may rock the pants off Boozy, Australia is considering European-style right-to-be-forgotten privacy laws. About fucking time. The right to be forgotten and the right to sue for privacy breaches will be considered for the next tranche of Australian legislation, the Attorney General has said. Mark Dreyfus made the comments on Monday, promising to consider European-style privacy reforms after his bill increasing penalties for companies that fail to protect customer data passed in 2022. Yes, because as someone that got caught up in 3 separate data breaches, I'm not a happy chappy. After receiving a review of the Privacy Act conducted by the Attorney General's Department, Dreyfus said in December that the former coalition government had left it out of date and not fit for purpose in our digital age. Too fucking right. Dreyfus said that they literally had 2 years where they didn't have to pass any other laws. Yes, they were dealing with the bug. That's fine. But they were all still in Parliament. They were all still doing their jobs. 3 that I know of. Yeah, tell me about it. Hey, Lenny. Is it ever really forgotten, though? No, and look, in terms of breaches and that sort of thing, I understand that that's still going to happen. But this is more about the stuff going on with Boozy and various people using your information for purposes where they're not supposed to legally. I've already brought in substantial increases to penalties, which I hope has sent a message to corporate Australia that they have to take more care of our privacy of Australians, about the data of Australians that they have in their custody, he told The Guardian on Monday. Those changes should have been implemented years ago. No shit. Dreyfus noted that a long-standing recommendation of the Australian Law Reform Commission is to create a statutory tort of privacy. Yes! Finally! Meaning individuals could sue for damages for breach of their privacy. The attorney said that it was among matters to be considered. Asked about the right to erasure, also known as the right to be forgotten, Dreyfus said that there was a range of reforms that have already occurred in a number of developed countries, particularly in the EU, and obviously the reforms that were created by the General Data Protection Regulation are among the matters that will need to be considered. Stop using weird porn sites and data breaches wouldn't happen. Fuck off, Mighty. It was my phone company, it was my bank, it was my other phone company, and it was my health insurance company. So technically that was 4, actually. Although the second telephone one was not a hack. They did that accidentally themselves. Ivermectin, $5 for the raccoon fund. Thank you. I appreciate that. Walk to the deli down the street and back, no issues. Fantastic. Very happy to hear that. The European Union's General Data Protection Regulation, GDPR, gives the people the right to have their data erased if it's no longer necessary for the purpose it was collected, or in some circumstances where the person withdraws consent. The GDPR contains a range of other personal rights, including the right to data portability, to object to data processing in some circumstances, including where it is used for direct marketing purposes, and to not be subjected to automated decision-making and profiling. In September, the Prime Minister Anthony Albanese described requiring companies to dispose of data when they no longer needed it was a pretty common-sense proposal. At that time, Dreyfus also raised the prospect of companies could be required to delete data collected for only establishing a person's identity. In the US, everyone who worked for the government, including the military, got their data hacked in 2008. Honestly, I think I trust porn sites with my data more than the government. Only data breaches I've had come from DoD, which I don't find ironic and wish I did. At the time, Dreyfus also raised the prospect of companies could be... the managing director of Digital Identity Group, Inc., whose members include Google, Apple, Meta, Twitter, and TikTok, Sunita Bose, told The Guardian Australia that it was strongly in favour of reforming the Privacy Act. I should fucking well hope so. All companies have a duty to protect their customers' personal information, and we need to modernise the law to the digital era. Digi is broadly supportive of increased harmonisation between the Australian privacy regime and the European GDPR, which has a lot of strong elements, including the customer's right to data erasure, which should be offered in Australia. Too fucking right it should. A Meta spokesperson said it supports stronger privacy protections for Australian consumers, including the introduction of a statutory tort for serious invasion of privacy and a right to erasure in certain circumstances. But breach of privacy could prove more controversial for media companies, which fear the action could provide the rich and powerful further legal weapons to constrain freedom of the press. Oh, get fucked. Are you serious? Alright, I want to see what they have to say about that. Business Council of Australia opposed the law reform earlier in consultations, labelling it premature to introduce a tort that would often overlap with the protections of the Australian privacy principles. Well, obviously the Australian privacy principles would be reformed also. We are yet to see compelling evidence that there is a need for these, particularly as the Office of the Australian Information Commissioner has reported that its conciliation process has been largely successful in resolving complaints. Yeah, because it's so much easier for the media to only have to go through conciliation than it is to wind up in court for breaching someone's privacy. In a wide-ranging interview, Dreyfus was asked about the comments made by the Sex Discrimination Commissioner Kate Jenkins in November that the Australian Human Rights Commission is not resourced to do the LGBTQ+ human rights work, while the President, Rosalind Croucher, told Senate estimates the AHRC would dearly like to be able to put such a specialist role back in. How the fuck did that have to do with privacy? I think maybe someone's copied and pasted things there. So the scope of the work of the AHRC something remains... On Tuesday, open consultation for the creation of a federal judicial commission to police what he describes as relatively rare instances of problematic conduct by judges. Okay, I'm fairly confident that this is a... I feel like someone fucked up here. Interesting. 10 months old. Guardian view on privacy laws and press freedom, failing to strike a balance. Of course. Hang on. This is the UK one though, isn't it? Yeah, this is UK Guardian. This is an Australian. I really have no care for that whatsoever. Law-breaking bankers unlikely to be fined $1 million. Laws bolstering standards in the financial services sector are unlikely to include $1 million fines against law-breaking bankers, with the coalition offering Labor support to pass the long-delayed legislation through the Senate. Labor's attempts to pass the financial accountability regime law through Parliament in November fell through after it backed out of a last-minute deal with the Greens to include a $1.1 million fine for law-breaking bankers and superannuation executives. ChatGPT article? Potentially. The banks opposed the amendment after a last-minute lobby. The Labor pulled the bill. Some lenders were concerned fines could make it more difficult to hire senior executives and may increase risk aversion, with banks still finding their feet after the Hayne Royal Commission. Oh dear God. What a shame it would be if they were held to account for being corrupt. In an interview with the Australian Financial Review, Assistant Treasurer Stephen Jones said he was consulting with whether or not to include the financial penalties in the reform. However, he said in a clear preference was to reintroduce Labor's original bill, which did not include fines for executives that breached the new accountability standards. Why? Why should they not be held accountable for breaching the standards? I'm sorry, but if you're considered senior, it's your responsibility to know exactly what you're doing, what the laws are, and if what you're doing in terms of banking breaches those rules, you should absolutely be fined. Are you kidding me? Where is the deterrence? Where is the specific deterrence to make sure you do not break the law just to line your own pockets? Fuck that. The government hopes to pass the FAR and introduce a compensation scheme for victims of financial misconduct by the end of March, which was also a recommendation of the Haine Commission in 2019. Labor could turn to the coalition's support on the FAR and sidestep renewed demands by the Greens to include the $1.1 million fines in the package. I don't generally support the Greens on much. I'm annoyed that in this case I have to. That really annoys me. Okay. You know what? Let's set the cat amongst the pigeons on something else, shall we? Actually, you know what? No. I'm going to go to the loo. That's what I'm going to do first. So I don't think I'm going to have ChatGPT write me a piece on. It's a badass Roo. Net dropped a couple of times. Hope everyone's good. Yeah, I think it should be okay. Alrighty, where are we? News page. Trans dad Danny Wakefield got pregnant after a one-night stand when transitioning. A 36-year-old trans dad from Seattle who identifies as non-binary and queer has revealed how they fell pregnant after a one-night stand. A 36-year-old dad from Seattle who identifies as non-binary and queer has been documenting how they took advantage of the body organs I was born with to give birth after a one-night stand during their medical transition. Danny Wakefield came out as trans-masculine, a person assigned female at birth, but who identifies with masculinity. When they were 25, went on testosterone treatment for 9 years and had a double mastectomy in Florida during the transition. Although identify as trans-masculine rather than male, wait, what?
Holy shit!
That just threw me. As trans-masculine rather than male, people often read me as a cisgender gay man. So I'm aware that it does make me more visible to live in my identity as a trans-masculine person, he wrote in a 2020 piece for Newsweek. In April that year, Wakefield found out that they got pregnant during a bout with COVID-19 after a one-night stand with an unnamed man. Wilder, whose gender Wakefield has not yet identified as part of their story, was born in 2020. I've known for my entire life that I wanted children. I knew before I transitioned I would want to carry at least one child. I have a question. Did the testosterone not potentially interfere with the growth of the child? Or did they stop using the testosterone for the length of the period? Because it says it was happening during the transition. It is what they said, isn't it? And that they've not yet identified the child, the gender of the child. I'm not gonna lie, it looks like a little boy to me. That's not the point. Oh, maybe not. Often when people are transitioning, they might freeze their eggs. I also thought about how I'd feed my baby when I had a double mastectomy. Those small decisions had to be made, but I don't regret them one bit. I don't think I would be here if Wilder hadn't been taken. If I hadn't taken care of myself and honoured my identity back then, they said. Wakefield detailed what it was like being pregnant during the pandemic, which kept them at home instead of going out in public regularly, which would have been quite different. Despite the sickness, it was the most beautiful experience I've had. I've fallen in love with my body in ways that I never experienced before. What, finger up the arse? Oh god, I shouldn't have said that. No, you bigot, it's magical and all. Fuck you, Marty. I'm legitimately entitled to have questions. You don't get to call me a fucking bigot for that. That was your question too? Oh, there you go. Kind of looks like Val, to be honest. It'll be non-binary until it decides on its own. Something I've been thinking about and never did before. Those hormones are going to mess with those babies. It's a question. It is a legitimate question. Don't they block the lady hormones and pump up the male ones? That's my understanding. So my question is, does that interfere with the gestation of the child? Testosterone may affect the baby's development. Free education camps are needed for questions. Oh, fuck off. Seems like having a huge amount of hormones pumped into you during pregnancy would have consequences. Yeah, that's what I think. More concerned about the dad-mum messing up the kid than the hormones at this point. The fuck is this? ChatGPT just asked me to verify I'm human. Interesting. Maybe people have been getting it to interact with other AIs. I don't know. Everything you ingest and experience in pregnancy will affect development. Wakefield, who is also a recovering addict, has amassed over 1 million followers on social media while documenting their parenting journey on the website Danny the Trans Dad and on Instagram and TikTok accounts by the same name. Just because I don't feel like a woman doesn't mean I can't take advantage of the body organs I was born with. I'm going to let that one slide. Just for my own sake of sanity. In another, he's seen rubbing his large belly. I was born with a uterus, so in the world said I was a girl, but I was very much not a girl, they wrote. I'm also not a boy, I'm non-binary. I have the reproductive system that allows me to carry and give birth to a child, so that's what I did. Trans men and non-binary people give birth too. Wakefield told Yahoo Life that they were met with snickers from nurses, as well as doubt, disbelief and lack of knowledge from doctors ill-equipped to address their needs. In one instance, it took an hour and a half for them to get them to treat me because they didn't believe I was pregnant. The doctors and nurses would talk quietly amongst themselves, asking each other questions about me instead of asking me directly, the patient who's sitting right there in front of them. They do that irrespective. Don't think you're special because of that. Dr. Juno Obadina Maliva, assistant professor at the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology at Stanford University School of Medicine, said stories like Wakefield's are not uncommon. They told Yahoo Life that the medical establishment and society in general has little knowledge about pregnancy in the trans male population. We grow up in a world with books from preschool on up that, until very recently, have not imagined or really represented the diversity of the communities as they are. None of our systems have been designed to delineate the difference between somebody's gender and somebody's pregnancy capacity. Obadiah Maliva said that it is slowly changing amid a growing demand from trans patients. Bloody hell. It's currently undergoing a phase where it's either going to turn into a Nazi or be turned off. Oh, God. Yeah, because Stanford professors are real reliable these days. That's a good point, too. I feel so bad for this baby. I mean, what the fuck? I legitimately don't know how to feel about that story. Let's talk about the enormous seal, shall we? Enormous seal escorted back to sea after a dramatic Point Lonsdale visit. Oh, come on. And he's back in the water. A Victorian coastal community has been surprised after a large seal came ashore and smashed windows at the local petrol station before it was escorted back to the sea. They're rising up because of climate change. They're not happy with us using fossil fuels. Videos circulated on social media showed us a male southern elephant seal making its way across the road at Point Lonsdale, southeast of Geelong. The Lonsdale BP confirmed the seal broke 2 windows during its antics on Friday. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that. Whose parents work at the service station said the seal may have been trying to fight its reflection. It went to the big window and it smashed the window because I think it saw its reflection, the 12-year-old said. And it crawled towards the front where the door is and broke that window as well. Then I think it shimmied all the way back into the sea. The seal was guided back to the sea by wildlife workers as police officers helped keep the crowd at a distance. He was hungry and needed a Snickers. Either that, or he was trying to get rid of hungry thirsty, and he was after an oak. For anyone that doesn't know, that's chocolate milk. 12 years wise. No option for notification? No, I wasn't able to put it in. So it's purely, if you got a notification, just tell me where you got it from. Otherwise, don't vote. Was Rackets there fat shaming it? I tell you what, I'll send him the video and send him a super chat and say, here, fat shame this, and see what he can come up with. Seal's got... Suspect the seal is local legend Henry. Some local residents, including Bellarina MP Alison Marchant, identified the seal as Henry, who was known to frequent the area around Port Phillip Bay. But other residents disputed that the Port Lonsdale seal was Henry, saying that he had not been sighted for about 15 years. Henry was a frequent visitor to Point Lonsdale and Geelong, starting in around the early 2000s. I used to volunteer to look after him when he was on the land to keep him safe, but I would say that this is another curious seal. Hayden didn't notice the beached whales. There were beached whales? Oh, you're just going to be a pain, aren't you? Okay, never mind. University of Tasmania marine researcher Clive McMahon said that the seal, which he estimated to be around 6 to 7 years old, appeared to be in excellent condition based on the footage. For many seals, this is the time that they come ashore for their annual molt. At this time, they lose and then replace all their fur. Huh. Can you collect it then? Going back to run catch up, no spoilers. Oh, fair enough. A spokesperson for Victoria's conservation regulator warned that the public should stay at least 30 metres away from seals inland or water or 50 metres with a dog. It's illegal to touch or feed a seal, with penalties including a potential fine of nearly $3,700. Oh, there you go. Two and a half hours back, never mind. Oh, he was going to the gas station for his annual malt. His annual malt milkshake, probably. Alright. LAPD sued for $50 million over school teacher's death during arrest. The family of a black man who died in custody after being repeatedly tasered in Los Angeles has filed a $50 million lawsuit against the city. Police released footage of the high school teacher and father, Keenan Anderson, 31, begging for his life and shouting, "They're going to George Floyd me." Officers said he was arrested after trying to flee from a car crash. Civil rights lawyer Benjamin Crump said the lawsuit would set a precedent that could help stop police killings. Here we go. We all sat and watched that footage. Whilst I think it could have been handled better, do I believe that it's worth $50 million? No. You heard that the gas station hot dogs were good. Speaking on Friday at a news conference, Mr. Crump said the police want to push this thing under the rug like they do with all the young people that they unjustly kill. He asked why de-escalation was only for white people, adding, "Why don't you engage black men with dignity and humanity?" Mr. Henderson said the cousin of Black Lives Matter co-founder Patrisse Cullors is, I think that's how we established that I pronounce it, is survived by his 6-year-old son. His arrest took place at around 3:30 on 3rd of January in Venice, a beachside neighborhood of Los Angeles. He had been visiting family for the holidays during time off from the school in Washington, D.C., where he taught English to 15 and 16-year-olds. Hang on. I believe I have a visitor. Just need to put the technical difficulties on, guys. I'll be right back. Yes, I do have a backgroundless version of the logo. I just didn't upload the right one. I've been meaning to fix that. Thank you for putting that on my list of things to do today. He tested positive for weed and crack. Watched the entire video and Donuts video. They tried for like 15 minutes to get him to calm down. Dude, you actually trying to poach my... Fuck you. Why is he running from a car crash? Did he maybe have some drugs? Well, apparently, yeah. Race baiting instigator Ben Crump, worse than fucking Sharpton. You really don't like old Sharpton, do you? Oh, yeah, no, it was because I did it quickly. I really should replace that with the backgroundless one. Okay, where are we? Police were called to the scene to a felony hit-and-run. Officers later said they alleged that Mr. Anderson attempted to carjack somebody and then caused a crash. Body-worn police footage shows him in distress when they arrived, first telling the officer somebody's trying to kill me. When he is first approached by a motorcycle officer who tells him to get up against the wall, he says, "I didn't mean to, I'm sorry." When the officers attempt to arrest him with force, Mr. Anderson stands up and to move towards the road, saying, "I want people to see me. You're going to put a thing on me." As more officers arrive and pin him to the road, he shouts, "Please," and "help," and they're trying to George Floyd me. The murder of George Floyd in May 2020 by an on-duty policeman in Minneapolis, Minnesota, shocked the county and led to nationwide calls for police reform. The stun gun was initially used on Mr. Anderson for about 30 seconds after the officer warned him multiple times, "Stop or I'm going to tase you." Moments later, he is tased again for roughly 5 more seconds. An ambulance arrived about 5 minutes later, police said, and took Mr. Anderson to the local hospital. However, about 4 hours later, he went into cardiac arrest and died. Why wouldn't I poach viewers? Grift, baby, grift. Levy's been helping. Fair enough. Where are you, Levy? You're both in timeout. That being said, guys, I fully intend to end in the next couple of minutes and shunt everybody over to Mighty and Val anyway, so... Hey, no Rumble? Yeah, should be on Rumble. And I can see Tom Bolo over there, as well as the 24 still watching a Rumble. Thank you very much for that. Shutting even alive? I've got no idea. When you do a pee break, do a waterfall sound, then we all have to pee too. Complete mischaracterization of what happened. I disagree with you, Draren. We all watched that footage. I don't think it's a complete mischaracterization of what happened. Which would have nothing to do with being tased. What the actual fuck. Sure, the cardiac arrest had nothing to do with all the drugs in his system. If you look at the video, he was complying. Okay. Enough with the Floyd comparisons. I'll wait for the autopsy. What drugs were in his system? 4 hours. That's quite a bit of time from a tase to death. Toxicology report produced by the Los Angeles Police Department showed that Mr. Anderson's blood tested positive for cannabis and cocaine. Family have called for the full video of the arrest to be released. They have also called for Police Chief Michael Moore to be fired and for an end to qualified immunity, which protects individual officers from being sued by members of the public. Yes, I don't specifically agree with qualified immunity, and I am planning on having some people on to discuss qualified immunity because that actually is something that is specific to America. We have different types of immunity here in Australia, but the way that one has specifically evolved is just for you guys. Have mixed feelings about the video Yes, he was 100% erratic, but they were standing on him and yelling, "Turn the fuck around on your back." Like, you can't, you're on him, I don't like it. There was that. That is true. This article's a bit out of date. No, this was from yesterday? 12 hours ago. His family have called for the full video to be released. Yes. On Friday, Mr. Crump said that he asked for the Department of Justice to investigate the death. If he continued to blame the victim and not hold the officers accountable, why would they ever stop killing us, said Dominique Anderson, Keenan's younger sister, at a rally on Thursday. The police are supposed to be here to protect and serve the people, and yet they abuse the authority and have a lack of respect for human life. He also deserves to be hugging his son, but instead his son is left fatherless because of a chance encounter with the LAPD taking Keenan's life. They ought to release the full video. Oh, did they? Like the entirety of the video? I mean, I know that there was a 19-minute video, a version of the video. I don't know if that was the entirety of it, though. They shouldn't fight the police when caught red-handed. I think the last part is just copy-pasta from the original article. Would you watch it? No. Well, look, at the time I was going to watch it, and there was... 90 minutes? Easy? Really? Well, no. I took a vote at the time, and people didn't even want to watch the 19-minute video, so we won't be doing that. Schoolbury taught Digital Pioneers Academy released a statement saying that the school's community is angry that once again a known, loved and respected member of the community is no longer with us. Well, maybe you shouldn't have been high on cocaine and walking around in the middle of a street and trying to carjack somebody. Like, I'm sorry, but I genuinely think there is probably a difference between having those in your system, being tased. Yes, sure, he couldn't roll over or whatever the fuck else. Fine. I get that. The police did some wrong. Do I specifically think that they can be held responsible entirely for his death? No, I don't think so. Tasers are more dangerous than the baton, but they got rid of the baton because it wasn't particularly politically correct. So a teacher on coke can set standards for the kids, apparently. Anyway, that's the end of that one. Okay. Oh, apparently Buzz Aldrin got married on his 93rd birthday. Congratulations to him. Best wishes to the new couple. Paramedics have been sued over a man's death. I think this is a minute-long video.
Alright, Earl, this is getting a little silly, man. Yo. There we go.
Prosecutors separately charged Peter Cardigan and Peggy Finley with first-degree murder in the 35-year-old Earl Moore's death. They accused the paramedics of tightly strapping him face down on a stretcher after police called for an ambulance. They accused the paramedics of tightly strapping him face down on a stretcher after police called for an ambulance. Is this actually playing? Doesn't look like it. Shit. Now it's completely frozen and I can't do anything. Yep, they're back. Well, haven't you heard from ChatGPT? Promoting that is unethical. Oh, come on now, I can't even get out of this. Are you serious? Christy. Gee, I don't have to worry about roaming girl gang stabbing me to death in the D. Yikes. Hang on, why is this not... Oh. I think that's killed the... I think that's killed it. Crap. Oh, maybe not. Is it still... No? Okay, fine. Anyway, family of an Illinois man whose death prompted murder charges against two paramedics who strapped him face down on a stretcher have filed a lawsuit against the medics and his employer as at January 19. Keep an eye on that one as well. So, there we have it, guys. Alright. Now, thank you very much to the 76 of you still watching, and the 20 of you watching still on Rumble. I very much appreciate that. Guys, it has been a brilliant morning, and I think I'm going to get the hell out of here. I've still got a couple of hours where I can do some stuff because family's going to be away. So while the family is while the cat is away, the mice will play. And yeah, I'm going to see if I can fix some things up, including that bloody technical difficulties thing. But as always, guys, stay healthy, wealthy, and wise, and I will catch you on the flip side. Yeah. Don't think there's anything else to say today. And guys, I know I've mentioned it previously on various things, including the locals. I am still looking to revamp various aspects of the show. If anyone has any sort of ideas, I mean, I am looking at the true crime stuff. I'm thinking that I might start doing that once a week. But yeah, if there's anything that you'd like me to delve into or anything like that, or something you'd think would be fun to see, hit me up on Twitter, on Discord, or even just leave a comment on the video. In fact, you know what? I would love it if you would leave a comment on this video, just so we can stick it to Susan. So if there's anyone out there that is, like, even if it's just an X or whatever the hell else. I'd love to see how many comments we can get specifically on this video. And thank you to everyone on the replay. Very much appreciate you sticking around this long. And I shall see you later, guys. Cheers. Oh, wait, hang on. I've got to set up the... Oh, actually, stick around because I need to set up the thing to switch over to Mighty and Vals. So I'll do that in a second. Alright, and getting ready to dump in 3, 2, 1. Also, I didn't notice that you're doing weird and old laws. 3, 2, 1. See ya.